How's everybody doing today? Bigly, how are you today?
I'm better.
Good.
Yeah.
Better?
Yeah.
Yes.
Than last night.
Yeah, you weren't feeling great last
No,
night.
I wasn't.
How come?
It just wasn't. It was
Just
one of
'cause-
those nights. Just one of those nights.
Just one of those nights.
Yeah.
That's fair.
You know how it goes. It
Yeah.
happens sometimes.
Yeah, you're allowed.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, today we've got a cheer up session because it's the Friday morning BazNBigly.
I love the morning show.
Me too. Me too. Yeah, we're excited to get kicked off with some really great topics for you guys today. Of course, we're going to do the show warm up first. So before we get started, good morning. Happy Friday. My name is Brad, a.k.a. Baz.
And I'm Steph Bigley, Bunsley.
And various other handles afforded to her by the internet, it seems. Yes, that's right. Hopefully you guys are having a great Friday wherever in the world you are, or even a great Saturday if that's where you've started. Who even knows? But why don't we get wound up with the regular morning countdown, just like so. Yes.
Bring up my little thing.
Yes, why don't we get sorted out here? Let's get started. So while we're getting stream fired up, getting organized, ready to rock and roll.
Here we go. There's one. Oh my god. Okay. And then
I don't hear any music coming through.
I
this
do.
Is why. That's because it's coming through your monitor. There you go.
Oh.
Uh-huh. There we go. Good morning, Skarshack. How are you?
Hi. Good morning. It is morning.
It's the morn.
It is.
'Tis the morn.
How are you today, Skarshack? We've got coffee. Coffee, good.
Yes, coffee is good.
Bagels, homemade,
Nothing wrong with
good.
it.
Oh, here's your coffee.
Oh, why, thank you.
You're welcome.
I was rushing today
I know.
to get fired up for stream.
Just a
Of
tad.
course, it's easy for me to get fired up for stream.
Yeah. But there was just a little bit of rush happening.
Yeah, a little bit of a rush.
That's okay.
It is okay. I feel good about it.
Oh, good. I'm glad you feel good about
I
it.
feel just fine. Looking good, nice and wintry in Owen Sound. Yeah.
Hey, from the set of The Expanse.
Oh,
cool.
what's going on? You're on
That's
set today,
awesome.
Kyraxis. Very cool.
Nice.
Very nice. Back in the action.
Back to work. I hope your hours
sweet.
are a little better this time around than they were on your the last film.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I
that's
know
right.
last time it was crazy. What's time?
What is time even? Hope you're feeling better, Bigly, especially after last night's Leafs win. Uh-oh.
Yeah, hell yeah.
right.
That was I didn't actually even watch the game. Weirdly, because I was just feeling that crappy.
Yeah.
But yes, I saw the score though, so I'm obviously very pleased about that. Oh, yay, Captain! 8 to 3:30 and weekends off. I'm so happy for you.
That's good. Yeah.
I'm like
that's-
actually
wow,
so
like
happy
actual
for you.
normal human hours.
Yay!
So Kyraxis was working some pretty crazy hours. That's what we were talking about. Like really silly, like having to get up at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, battle Canadian winter on the roads to get to work. And now that has all come around. It's nice to hear people's work situations evening out because it's been so crazy for a lot of people in a lot of ways. And
yeah.
it's nice to hear a story about things going smoothly for a change. Brozova, oh my goodness, hello and welcome. It's always nice to fire up before stream. Yeah, it's good to get fired up before the stream to fire it all up.
I'm gonna have a bite of my bagel because I'm
Yes,
really hungry.
yeah. We're crashing breakfast into the morning show. We got a minute and change on the countdown. How are you guys feeling today? How's everyone doing this Friday morning? You guys ready for the weekend? Kyraxis actually has a weekend. What are your plans this weekend, my dude? Some vidya gaming?
I love you too, Captain.
We love you, Captain.
You know I mean it.
Yes. It's been really, the weather's been okay. Like, it's been sunny. Although today it seems pretty windy where we
Does
are
it?
in Canada.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't notice.
You haven't actually looked outside?
Nope,
I don't. Rolled out of bed.
I don't look
went
outside
straight
in
for
winter.
The coffee maker. Can I have a bite of my bagel as well,
Oh,
please?
you may. You may have a bite of your bagel.
These are Bigley's bagels?
Bigley's bagels.
Tell me more.
I made them. They are mine. How am I feeling? I'm feeling good today. Better. Captain, drink soon and hot tub, please. And bagels. Do you want the bagels in the hot tub? I might get messy. Non-seed ones in the hot tub. Because otherwise they're going to go everywhere. And seeds in the hot tub is not good. But I all of that.
Filter will take care of it.
If the weather keeps up like this, it'll be a video game weekend, for sure.
What are you playing, Scotchak?
Yes, please, the hot
and
tub.
Hot tubs.
Yeah.
Yes, it would be nice.
Everyone should have a hot tub.
Yeah.
It's just there, I've said it.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, definitely makes that winter a little more bearable.
It does.
Well, gang.
Oh, look at that.
The countdown is over. Did it just go from like 6 to 0?
Did you start it at 5 minutes? That seemed really fast.
Yeah, that was 5 minutes. Time flies when you're having fun. And speaking of having fun, we have a lot of really great things to share with you today. So without further ado, good morning starts now, my friends. Let's get the morning show started. I hate the internet. Like this. Now, and of course they're muted. I literally don't know what the hell is going on. Here's a glimpse behind the curtain of live streamed entertainment. Everything that can go wrong will likely go wrong. So you just have to kind of roll with the punches and do what you do. This is how the morning show intro is supposed to go. Please enjoy. Good morning starts now.
Hey, there we go.
Notwithstanding the technical mishaps of the other side of it, Pleasant lurking while working. That's no problem. We're happy to have you here. Thank you very much for the lurk, Pleasant, and thanks for showing up this morning. So I'll tell you, this is what happens really. Sometimes things go wrong with technology when you're streaming. There are a lot of levers and things. Today, my keybinds decided to just rebind themselves. So it's going to be a fun little game for the rest of the show, trying to figure out what buttons do what things.
I don't know. I kind of liked your, here's the intro. Here's the intro.
Nope, back to us. Here's the intro. Back to us. Because for some reason, my mute mic button decided to swap itself with my start intro button. Why would it do that? I don't know. Let's write a letter to OBS. I use OBS for stream. But I don't want to get ahead of myself because next week we're going to be talking all about streaming. And my nerdity warning next week is going to be about streaming setup. Yeah, I do because I picked it out today. Trying to get ahead.
I do too.
Polyhedral Jay, what's up? Who are here for as long as I can be on this jazzy Friday waiting for AMC to blow. Is that why you've been so quiet lately, Polly? I was worried about you. I was like, I haven't seen Jay in a long time.
What's AMC?
AMC is it was the next stock in the crosshairs post GameStop. Remember we talked about this last week's morning show?
Oh, like the movie theaters, AMC.
Yeah, AMC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I assume that's what you mean, AMC, right? It's been a rough week, Polly. Well, hopefully you're lined up for a better week's end.
Yeah.
Good to see you back, though. Yeah, amazing. We got a really great show lined up today, actually. We're talking about a lot of fun things. As we always do Friday, we say you can find negative poopy news everywhere on the internet.
Poopy news.
Negative poopy news everywhere on the internet. But here we do lighthearted news.
That's right.
Yeah. Vanished Sun, welcome back. Look at all the OG big leaguers coming back. The OG big leaguers coming back into the fray. Welcome back. Good to see you.
Oh no, you've been
dog.
sick.
Oh no. All right,
Enough
well,
about me.
Let's get that recovery started. Glad to see you back again, my friend. Good to hear from you. So Scarshix playing Breath of the Wild just unlocked another Divine Beast. Wife and I will tag team Overwatch, do the Lunar Festival event, and perhaps more Cyberpunk. Isn't it great when you have a significant other to share it with?
Except when I play Breath of the Wild, it's mostly just swearing and raging.
That's true. You might be unique in that fact. I've never known anyone to be inspired with like core gamer rage whilst playing Breath of the Wild, and yet Bigly has done it.
I don't know if I like it, you guys. And I love Zelda. I love Zelda.
It is true. Honestly, like we've resigned to do this. Actually, we're gonna start playing it on stream.
We are.
We're gonna start playing it on
From
2Play. We're gonna start over.
Because I'll explain something really quick.
And before you go, let me preface this by saying this is exactly what I was talking about with Ghost of Tsushima about overextending when you just charge into the store. Anyway, go ahead. But I know there's more to that. Sorry.
So I started playing it, and I don't like the fight mechanics. I'm just saying it. I don't like it. I don't like them. I don't like how you have to keep trading out weapons.
Okay.
I don't like your weapons break every 2 seconds. I think it's stupid. Just give me a
You don't have to like it just because
No.
you're the only person in
I
the
know.
history of humanity who doesn't
Fuck
like
off.
Breath of the Wild.
Shut up. But like I just like I want a through story and it's open world, so it's a little frustrating. Like I just want old school Zelda, right? I like how it looks. I like lots of aspects of it, but so far I've been playing it mostly by myself on my own, and like I'm not having fun playing it anymore. I'd be like, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm like, I don't know where to go. I'm like, everyone's like, you can go anywhere. I'm like, cool. But then I go anywhere and then I die immediately. And then I'm like, okay, well, that's too hard. And then I try going somewhere else and then that's too hard. And then I'm annoyed and then I put the game away. So that's where I am with Breath of the Wild right now. So like Brad said, we're going to start it over because Brad's like, maybe you missed something or whatnot. I don't think I did. I just think I'm not enjoying it.
Yeah,
which might also
totally
be the case.
fair.
I hope not. I love Zelda. I like love Zelda the most, but I'm hoping that we can start it over on stream. If you want it, I will definitely probably get frustrated. So if you want to see Stephanie rage, like you did with Brad at Ghost of Tsushima, get ready for Zelda. So yeah, we're gonna start it over. I'm actually resigning not to play mine anymore, even though I have a really awesome horse that I got. Poor Dersh.
Stiff Rage for the win. What's it called?
Dersh.
Dersh is the name of your horse.
Yeah, but it's okay. Irish for red, and he's a red horse.
Oh, okay. You got me.
Yeah.
Gonzo, Vegas, thank you very much. Glad you're feeling better. Sorry, that's for you.
I'm like,
really.
thank you very much.
I was in the middle of saying thank you very much for joining us this morning, as I always do. Welcome, Vegas. Thanks for joining. But the comment is for you.
Thank you.
Biggs was under the weather a little bit last night, which gave me the chance to play Call of Duty Warzone online on stream for the first time ever. Mm-hmm. And it was awesome. I had a really good time. It was really great. Captain Kyraxis and I used to play pretty regularly on the PS4. We used to play a lot of multiplayer, and I played a couple of Warzone rounds with those guys. But I'll be doing, we'll be doing more. I'll be doing more Call of Duty Warzone on stream because we have a lot of really great community members. And as though summoned by the mention of Warzone, Erender.
There you go. See, I had to say it.
Was that better?
Well, it was better. I had to say it first, though. I made sure I did it first.
Yeah.
So
maybe we can do some of that.
Stick around. I'm going to be talking some Lord of the Rings later.
Yes, we've got Lord of. What else? So let's talk. What else do we have on the agenda today? So we're talking about Trebek's tribute. We're talking about the passing the torch on for the coveted and highly celebrated role of Jeopardy host. Mm-hmm. We have. We're talking a little bit about the changes at Amazon, because Bezos announced that he's stepping down as CEO. But this is not the last. This is merely the beginning of Bezos' journey further into billionairehood. So who doesn't want to know more about that? Mm-hmm. We're talking about some Spider-Man stuff. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Please help me out. I was trying to buy you time because your stuff.
We're not about Spider-Man today.
Fuck. Like she only
talking
breaks
about
her silence to say that I'm wrong.
We're not talking about Spider-Man today.
It's
We're talking about
married
Lord of the Rings in Nerdity.
Okay, well, please, what else do we have on the docket today? Madam Bigley.
Funny shit.
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, so talking Super Bowl. Specifically, the weekend.
Yeah.
The weekend.
Well, maybe that's a good time to, get into some news.
Do you think the weekend...
Stop saying it like that.
Do you think he actually made that spelling error and by then it had taken off and he was just stuck with it like...
Nah, he's smart.
Well, you know what? Let's explore that in a little segment we call Lighthearted News.
Sorry, every time. And it makes me laugh.
I love that intro. Lighthearted News today. Who's going to kick it off? Bigley. I say me.
Okay.
I think.
I'm like, wait, don't you have this planned already?
Maybe. No, it's you.
It's me. Okay, like I wasn't even sure. So, as you guys probably know, unfortunately, like Alex Trebek, who was like the only and most like longtime host with Jeopardy for the longest time, had passed away. I think it was pancreatic cancer he had, and it spread pretty quickly, and he was still hosting while he was sick and everything like that. But his last show aired a month ago or so. So they are doing guest hosts. So right now it's Ken Jennings. So for those of you who don't know who Ken Jennings is like the ultimate Jeopardy champion. He won 74 continuous Jeopardy games, and he was also crowned like the ultimate Jeopardy champion when they had like all the champions on. So basically, what he's been doing, he's the first host. Honestly, I know they're bringing on a few other guest hosts, which the other guest hosts that they're bringing on, only one of them sounds okay to me. The rest of them sound kind of like, I don't know why you're bringing these people on. They don't sound smart. Because I feel like you need someone smart to be the Jeopardy host. It's not
that
like
stands to reason.
Right?
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah.
So anyways, Ken Jennings, he's been doing a great job. I think they should just keep him as like the host in general, honestly. But so he's the host right now, and he's been doing kind of a nice little tribute at the end of every episode. He's been saying the usual goodbyes and everything, and then at the end of every episode, he just says like a thank you, Alex. Simple, but it's like fans and everyone who's been watching it just love it and like wait for that now at the end of every show, because it's really nice because like Alex Trebek's Canadian and like pretty famous Canadian in general. Like I don't know many people who don't know who Alex Trebek is, right?
Yeah.
And it's really sweet because like Ken Jennings talks about Austin, like he knew him so well because he was on the show for so long and got to be friends with him, and he's just such a man and someone to live up to. It's hard to fill someone's shoes like that, especially because Ken Jennings is the first person after Alex Trebek has passed away to host it. And it was supposedly one of the executive producers' ideas to have him say that at the end of every episode, which is really nice and really sweet. And, I think people are like supposedly getting really teary eyed at the end of like the episodes, but every time he says it. And it's funny because like, even like I watched some clips and things from like some recent episodes, and like the one right after the one that was the first episode that, Ken Jennings hosted, they had like a reel of like Alex Trebek from throughout the years, and I was like, oh no, don't cry.
Oh yeah, right in the feels.
No, don't cry. And it's true. And then every time he says that, it's like really, I don't know, it's really sweet. It's such a nice thing. So I really hope they keep that in there. I think it's a really nice tribute. I think that's a super smart executive producer.
Yeah.
For that. But yeah, I hope they keep it. And honestly, I hope they keep Ken Jennings. I hope they just bring him back. One of like the other hosts is like a football player, and I'm like, why?
Right, yeah, why?
And like
we had that with Michael. I forget his name, on the Kelly Ripa show.
Oh yeah.
Formerly Regis.
But it's not like this is Jeopardy though.
No, yeah, I know exactly. I'm over the whole supplanting a celebrity behind the podium of our favorite talk shows just on the merits of their star power. Ken Jennings, like, he feels so natural behind the podium because he is. I mean, he is like a product of the show.
Yeah, he is.
And he was the first person to break $1 million, I think, on the show, or one of
Oh,
very
yeah.
few people to ever do it.
Did you ever watch him when he was on?
Just like in clips.
Okay,
yeah.
but
and
you
maybe
never,
just when setting up the show today.
Okay, but you never like saw him when he was live on, because I remember
No, I never watched him live.
I remember watching it.
Yeah.
I remember when he was on and he was winning to the point where, like, you know how in SNL when they do like those in SNL Jeopardy, the Sean Connery would do the joke answers.
Celebrity Jeopardy.
Yeah. Shut up. Ken Jennings started doing that in some of his answers when he knew he was going to win. Yeah. He would do like a joke thing and be like, see you next week, Trebek.
Wow. That's funny.
Because like he was so confident that he was going to win.
But endearing. Like
yes,
he's not cocky.
No, he's not.
He's just a smart everyday guy.
He's super smart, a genius, and hilarious.
Yeah. And there's something really endearing about that. And I think like Trebek's legacy on the show, for a guy who basically gave his life to one show, right? And I'm sure enjoyed a lot of benefits from it too. But he's really iconic on both sides of the border and around the world, most likely. I mean, I remember, who amongst you can remember watching Jeopardy with like either your dad, your mom, your family, your brothers? That was really, it was almost religious at a point in my upbringing.
I loved watching it.
And frankly, like it's one of those few online televised entertainment pieces that forces us to want to be smarter.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you get something, when you're watching along at home on Jeopardy and you get a question wrong, aren't you like, oh, like I want to get there's something about that format that just makes you sit down and like, I need to get everything right.
Well, here's the thing. Have you ever watched Jeopardy? You don't get everything right. The answers,
no,
the questions
oh my God, no.
The only ones I would
or
do.
Or you'd be on
like
Jeopardy,
probably. Kid Jeopardy?
Yes,
when the kids are on?
Yeah.
I got it.
Or you have you see one category come up and it's like comic books and you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, once they had like movies, or I remember once they were like Lord of the Rings. I'm like, give it to me, I win.
Can we just have like 7 columns of various Lord of the Rings lore?
Well, that was like the funny one where there was a lot of times they don't know like.
Yeah.
I've won 200 times at
home.
Yeah.
has won 200 times at home.
The funny thing is for people who are like on it, a lot of times they are smart, but they don't know like pop culture stuff a lot of times.
Yeah.
Right? So like there's the joke about the one where like they are like this actor and it's literally a picture of him and it was Tom Hanks and no one got it.
Memes.
No one got it. And
and every boomer's like, crap.
And even,
watch your cash flow
like,
tank.
Alex Trebek would be like, and that would be Tom Hanks. It was like the $100.
It's Tom Hanks, guys.
Guys, it's Tom Hanks.
I love how honest he was in the show too. Like he was not shy about being like, it's a weird way. That's a weird answer.
Or when I need to ask them a question.
I'm confused by your stupidity.
I collect porcelain dolls. He's like, that's creepy.
Yeah, just honest. But he had this like way where he could do it and not come off as a douche.
Yeah, I remember once he said something to one person once and like full on called them out. Like they were like this and this and this at home. I think it was something about like role playing, actually, like D&D.
Yeah.
And then he was like, so you sit in your basement as an adult and do that. He's like, yeah. He's like, nerd. And like,
it's like, come on, Trebek.
No, it's hilarious.
Come on, Trebek.
Though, right?
You played D&D.
But it's hilarious.
Rogue.
It's funny. So yeah, I think it's just sweet. It's nice. Yeah. It's a nice, I don't know, it's a feel good, happy story.
The show and Trebek had fueled essentially the career of a lot of people on SNL, particularly Will Ferrell. Like Will Ferrell became really, really carved out a niche on Saturday Night Live through Celebrity Jeopardy. I remember watching hours of minutes of clips back to back of just Celebrity Jeopardy. It spawned a lot of that, right? Trebek would have made an excellent DM. Oh my God. Can you imagine like the capacity to remember details and just general knowledge that guy must have had? Not only just through the practice of doing the show for, what did you say? Like how many years? 30 years?
Oh yeah. From the 70s, I think he was doing it, or 70s, 80s
or more. Yeah. So yeah, just really endearing.
Definitely
a great
80s,
Canadian
so definitely
institution.
30 years.
And yeah, it was a joy to have him around. And I think Ken Jennings, he's like I said, he carries on that feel, that look and tone of just like genuine honesty. And I think part of the appeal of Jeopardy is like we could all see ourselves up there at some point, right? I think the more they can do to lean into making Jeopardy something that really appeals to all of us, is like something that we could aspire to, is great. The minute you throw like Jim Carrey behind the podium, it loses that.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's and then those are just big shoes to fill. This guy seems like it felt so natural to him, right?
Yeah, so we'll see. I know they're still going to be doing the guests, but I hope they
yeah.
go back to him.
Yeah.
That's my hope.
Yeah.
So if they do, maybe we'll come back to this topic when that happens.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't
want to see like Jerry Seinfeld.
Seinfeld?
That's like the most. Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, clearly.
What are you doing?
So we'll just ride that for a little bit. I'll just stay silent and enjoy the ride. Jerry Seinfeld. Jeremy Seinfeld? Yeah, that's a comedian.
You just made his name so
white. You know Jeremy Seinfeld. Yeah.
Oh, God.
So we'll move on from that one.
I think we're good there.
Trebek would have made an excellent DM. Yeah, couldn't agree more. Super smart. Yeah, he's super smart. The GOAT, indeed. Yeah, so Jeopardy, lots of things to look. I know, terrible. Lots of things to look forward to. In the future of Jeopardy. And I can you watch that streaming now? I think it's time they bring some of those shows like into a streaming format.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like. What do you mean, like on Twitch?
I'd be interested to know how many of you listening or watching have cable television and still watch cable television on a schedule like we used to, when cable television was the only option. Mm-hmm. Right, like you remember there were shows that you knew came on at a certain time.
Friends.
7
p.m. Thursdays.
7 p.m. Ninja Turtles. Like I had the Saturday morning cartoon schedule memorized week to week. And Jeopardy was one of those. Like it came on the same time every night or every other night. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, yeah, great call. Right, and you just knew when they came on. You're like, oh, my show's on.
Yeah.
Time to block that hour off, and you just get in front of the set.
I think Jeopardy's doing them on YouTube.
Yeah, like televised entertainment has been forced to adapt that way, right? And I mean, the easiest way to evolve is to go to a streaming service,
which they
like
all are.
Amazon,
NBC has now,
Netflix.
Peacock, right?
Yeah, that's right, Peacock. Yeah, Hulu was one of the pioneers of that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, pioneers from a cable network perspective,
I
guess. Bell and Rogers have tried their own, but in true Bell or Rogers fashion, they just have this like oligarchic approach to everything, where it's like, you have to at least try to pretend like it's a valued service and not just another way to wring money out of people. So
exactly.
There you go. That's my jab.
Yeah.
Thundercats, Silverhawks, He-Man, TMNT, yes, G.I. Joe, all the goods. Yeah. My Little Pony. Popples. Do you remember Popples?
Yeah, I had Popple. I had a Popple.
A Popple.
Yeah,
you had a Popple?
I had a little Popple.
Yeah.
And they the toys flipped inside out.
Rainbow Bright.
Loved Rainbow
Strawberry
Bright.
Shortcake. Cabbage Patch Kids.
Okay.
We'll get into, we could do a whole show of like what came first, the toy or the show.
Oh, God.
Pound Puppies. Oh, my God. Yes, they're so freaking cute, too. Pippi Longstocking. Great pull.
Hated Pippi Longstocking.
You called your grandpa Poppies. Oh, that's like very East Coast here. Oh, Popples. You call them Popples.
That's hilarious.
Gotcha, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Isaac, because Poppy is a very like East Coast thing in Canada.
Nan and Poppy.
I used to call Nan and Poppy. Yeah, Nan and Pop. Well, speaking of pop, here's a great segue. Let's talk a little bit about pop culture, because Bigley's going to talk to us a little bit about the weekend.
Yeah, and not this weekend.
Not this weekend. Let's go, Bigley. Let's go.
All right. So, for those of you who might not know, this weekend is actually the Super Bowl. I know, crazy, right? Because like what?
Oh yeah.
And I believe it's Kansas City and Tampa Bay playing. I'll admit, I'm not a huge football fan. I followed football more when I lived in the States because it was like I felt like I had to. But yeah, so The Weeknd is performing at the Super Bowl halftime show this weekend. Woo! I'm actually super excited. He's like only the third Canadian ever to host and also headline, because like typically it was like Shania Twain did it, but like she was with other people. You know what I mean? It wasn't like mainly her.
Right, like a more traditional.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is, this is what I wanted to cover this. Okay, so yes, the stadium is only half full. There's 25,000 people, and then they're putting cardboard cutouts in between the seats.
Oh, they are.
Oh, they're full
going
are.
with that, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not going to be empty, but they're saying like he has a lot of, like he has to hype it up a lot. I don't see any issues with that.
No.
It's The Weeknd. We've seen him live before too. He is insane. He's so good. Yeah. And he is doing it live. There was some things about whether he would actually be doing it at the stadium or if they'd have to cut to somewhere else pre-recorded. No, it is being done live. Nice. So here's where it gets interesting. So if you have listened to The Weeknd's most recent album and watched any of his music videos that go along with them, he has developed this whole storyline for a character that he's put together, and the music videos are insane. If you haven't watched them yet, please go check them out and watch them in order. So it's basically telling kind of a story about a celebrity like himself, a singer who is kind of falling into the traps of Hollywood and fitting in and changing themselves to be what Hollywood wants them to be, basically, with like plastic surgery and like drugs and everything. The cool thing is, every live performance that he's done in between, he has continued this freaking story. So he did like a music video, and then you've seen, probably if you've seen any images or pictures of him performing with like bandages on his face and things like that, it's because it's part of the story. A lot of people thought he actually got plastic surgery. He didn't. It's part of the story. It's prosthetics and things like that. So then the big question here is this story going to be, the last thing that came out was the No Tears Left to Cry music video, and it's a great song, great music video. That's the last one that came out. So if this potentially continues that story, people are asking, are you going to be as the character or you? And his response was, well, I have to ask him. So he's like fully playing into it. I'm like, I'm all for this. I love a good performer, right? Yeah, super committed. When have we seen something like this kind of thing with a character that someone's committed to it? Not for a long time with a performer. We used to see it back in like the 90s more and things like that, but not really now. So then the thing is, if he is continuing the story, so he actually has given $7 million of his own money to help put off the show the way that he really wants the show to put on. So they don't get paid to perform at the halftime show, right? But there are sponsors and everything that pay to put it all together, obviously, right? Pepsi being one of them. It's the Pepsi's halftime show, right? So no other performer has ever given their own money to contribute to what the show is going to be. So the fact that he's given $7 million of his own money to make the performance what it is going to be pretty crazy. And hey, Happy Charles,
welcome, Happy Charles. Yeah,
we're happy about this Sunday's halftime show, Super Bowl, with The Weeknd,
featuring The Weeknd.
So nice to meet you too.
It's difficult for me not to interrupt. I'm trying not to interrupt
the
whole time while we're talking about like the week, because every time I hear The Weeknd, I'm like, you mean weekend? It's a weekend full of The Weeknd. Thank you very much for the follow, Happy Charles. We're going to pause really quickly here because our tradition here on the BazNBigly channel is that every follower gets a song. So that's right. Make sure you're joining us live Friday mornings, just as Happy Charles has.
From Australia.
And you know what? From Australia. Well, that explains the happiness. Our kin. I always feel like Canada has had like a very close kinship with Australia.
Yeah.
Now, if only we could take a page from your COVID playbook.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Welcome to the crew. Charles, we say hey to you. It's a Friday, BazNBigly. Wanna say hey and welcome. We're glad you joined us today. Welcome, Happy Charles, to the BazNBigly Big Leagues. You're part of an amazing group of tabletop gaming, video gaming enthusiasts, aficionados, gurus, and most importantly, the best community the world over, made better by your presence here today. Thank you for your follow and welcome to the Big League.
That's
Big
right.
League. Please continue.
All right, I will. Great song. That was nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, so basically, I'm really interested to see what the performance is going to be like. I'll be honest, I'll probably literally only watch the halftime show. Not stop it.
The Weeknd.
But I'm like, there's a whole other things about like what else is going to be part of the halftime show. Will there be any special guests? He also just released like not a kind of like a greatest, like a starter pack for The Weeknd, if you don't really know who he is, on Spotify.
Starter pack
that is like all his greatest hits,
like a weekend Happy Meal.
like all his greatest like big songs, but a lot of them are showing like ones he did with like Ariana Grande and Daft Punk and things like that. And people are like, oh, is that like a tease to say like they're going to come and perform with him? Which would be, if Daft Punk and Ariana Grande show up to the Super Bowl with the week, I'm good. That'd be sick. I have to say, epic. I've seen Ariana Grande live too. She's freaking insane. I've seen The Weeknd live. He's insane. Daft Punk's awesome. Yeah. So that'd be very cool. And
that'd be a solid lineup. Very respectable.
Yeah. And then also we have our lovely poet laureate, Amanda Gorman, I think is her name.
Yeah. Right on.
She's performing at the Super Bowl halftime show too.
So reading at Biden's
so I think that's going to be really cool. Yeah. It's the first
wow, I didn't know that.
So awesome. I think it's definitely, yes, it's COVID football weekend, but like at the same time, I think it's going to be a really interesting and very cool performance that will be worth checking out to see like what's going on and how they put it together and what the weekend has in store for us. A good, he's from Toronto, so
you can stream the weekend over the weekend.
He's like from Scarborough, right? So like
local
boy.
Yeah, so, that's right.
Yeah, so it's very, very cool to see someone from Canada headlining.
Yeah.
And someone like super talented like he is as well.
Yeah, that's very nice. Yeah, good pull. I think good on you, Super Bowl. In a time when everybody's just trying to figure out like how to do it and what it looks like when it's done well, it's interesting to see that some of these big players who are traditionally been mired in the spectacle and the extravaganza, right? Yeah. Super Bowl halftime has always been about extravaganza. Second only, or probably followed up only closely by the ad spots and the specials, right?
So we won't go into really how like should they really even have people in the stadium and 25,000 people.
Because this is lighthearted news. We can debate the.
We're not going to talk about that. We're going to keep it awesome. Check it out. We can talk about. Let's see what everyone thinks next week. Watch the halftime show
and just enjoy the entertainment. You know, like let's get back to just enjoying the entertainment. Take something that's good as something good, and not everything needs to be a soapbox, right? Or maybe when it does, but there's the right time for it, right? So really looking forward to that. I think that's cool, and I love what The Weeknd has done with his with the chronology of this like story that he's building over multiple videos. So we talked about this a little while ago, I think, and how he has released all these videos, and even his Jimmy Kimmel performance was part of this like overarching narrative that he's building. And is there a location where you can see all of it in chronological order?
If you go to his YouTube page, like go to The Weeknd's YouTube page, then you can watch them all in order.
Yeah, it's Weekend, not Weekend, or you'll get a 404 error.
Yeah. So though there are a couple that aren't in the order there. There's some like MTV performances that are also part of the story as well. So you'd have to click slightly separate from those.
Like Steph's Bagels. Good. That's right. Katy Perry's halftime show from a few years back. Yeah. Katy Perry never fails to represent.
She's always great.
And even at Biden's inauguration, she just
like what?
Blew it away.
That was insane.
Assisted by the spectacle of incredible fireworks.
Keep in mind, she didn't get to see any of those fireworks because her back was turned to them the whole time.
Yeah, she had to watch them back. Yeah. And I didn't know, or I knew and forgot that she was married to Orlando Bloom.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Lucky girl.
Very cool. Lucky girl, yeah.
I hope The Weeknd has a wardrobe failure.
Yeah, you had to settle for the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, like a cyberpunk mishap.
So The Weeknd is a wardrobe failure, like a cyberpunk mishap.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do now. It took me a minute, but eventually, the dongs creep their way into everything or out of everything.
I think you didn't have to say it.
That's right. Look at you making cyberpunk jabs.
Yeah.
Atta girl. Fantastic. I'll be looking forward to seeing that. Probably watching it after on YouTube.
No, we could probably watch it live.
Yeah, but I don't know if I'll be watching the Super Bowl halftime show live.
Yes, we will. We will.
Join me for a Call of Duty bonus stream Sunday afternoon. Because the punishment continues. We're going to continue on. Speaking of continuing, the segues just keep rolling out nice and smooth here today. We are moving on to some news that is still fairly light. But I want to talk a little bit about the changes at Amazon. And as you know, Amazon, of course, is becoming... Thank you for crunching that right into your mic. There you go. Amazon has undoubtedly provided an entirely new evolution of its service since COVID kind of changed how we do things and manage our purchasing habits and source household goods and what have you and all that good stuff. So it was a bit of a big deal before that, though. And one of the names that has become synonymous with Amazon is Jeff Bezos, the now outgoing CEO of Amazon. And while this is kind of, he's stepping down as CEO, the reality is this is just the beginning of it. So he is stepping down as CEO, but like Steve Jobs did back in early 2000, he's moving into an executive chair role, which means if it's anything like the Steve Jobs transition that we saw with Apple, he's probably going to have just as much as, if not more, directive control over the company. But stepping into his space is, I believe it's Andrew Jassy, I believe, if I may need to fact check myself, but Jassy was Bezos' right hand throughout most of his time at Amazon, and they seem to be pretty much in lockstep. So functionally, I don't think we will see a big difference in how Amazon is managed or run.
Yeah.
But Jassy was actually the creator of a platform that Amazon owns called Amazon Web Services, or AWS. And honestly, if you do anything on the internet, you've used AWS, you might not even know it. It's this type of infrastructure that underpins literally almost everything that you see and do on the internet. So like when Amazon owned Twitch or purchased Twitch, when they started rolling out like these massive e-commerce platforms, AWS was kind of like their consumer platform that they were able to license out to other users. So there are big box retailers that you shop at, I guarantee you've used online, that have their e-commerce platform built on or integrated with the Amazon Web Services platform too. So they have developed this nervous system for the internet that over time they have built everywhere, and that was Jassy's doing. So Andrew Jassy, I was correct. Andrew Jassy. So he built all that. So I think it's in really good hands. Of course, we were talking about stocks last week, and like anything, when a big corporate or directional shift takes place in an organization as big as something like Amazon, then the stocks are going to fluctuate. So we see a little bit of a dip there, but eventually it'll come back, and Amazon's going to continue to be strong because it is a primary method for people to get things into their homes now. Bezos said that he is moving on to focus on his Amazon's space exploration interests.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, like we're seeing this explode into that like this discussion of space exploration and travel and almost the privatization. Kyrex says, thank you very much. Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon. So that's it. I just want to kind of feel that we've got a big change happening in Amazon. I don't think it's really going to change what we experience as consumers. I think it's in good hands with Jassy. But especially interesting is this kind of trend for long tenured CEOs to move into an executive director position, which retains their amount of influence in an organization, right?
Yeah.
So I was working for Apple when Steve Jobs made that transition, and unfortunately it was short-lived for Steve Jobs.
Yeah, because you were there when he passed away too.
Yeah, but like you have visionaries, and I think it's great when CEOs who are visionaries and who are really positive for the productive growth of an organization to move into a position like that. But I'm sure it can be, it can cut both ways if you have somebody who's a little bit tyrannical.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing, they still kind of have their fingers in the pie. I don't know. So, what do you think?
I don't know. I can't honestly speak too much to it. I don't really understand the hierarchy of where he's moving and things like that. So, I don't know.
He'll be essentially chairing the board of directors, so he'll still be steering the ship, so to speak.
Okay, so
right?
then realistically, then nothing should change.
It shouldn't. What about the idea that he did mention that he wants to focus more on their space pursuits?
I
still
heard
can't
you
get used to
that.
saying that it's real.
So,
but we have Elon Musk is playing very heavily into that area.
Richard Branson.
So Richard Branson with Virgin Galactic. Literally, it's called Virgin Galactic. Elon Musk is SpaceX, and Bezos and Amazon is Blue. Oh God. Help me out, Chad. Is it Blue Horizon?
I'm not sure. You know where they don't have COVID? Space.
Well, yeah. There are a number of other challenges, though, that space provides.
Sorry. No, I said that. The only reason I said that again is mostly to make him laugh because we were watching something, remember, with the astronauts, and they were in space, and they were
No, it was Snowpiercer. last night.
Yeah, I was getting there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. But I was watching
Spoiler
with
alert.
something with space stuff, and like they were in space, and like all the astronauts are together, and obviously have no masks on. They're just beside each other, and I was like, oh, look, no COVID in space, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we started watching this show called Snowpiercer yesterday. We only are 2 episodes in. We like it so far.
Great show.
But we had like that moment of, it's basically like the world has frozen over, and everyone on the planet, it's like too cold to occupy Earth, and they live on this train that's like 1,001 cars long that just circles the world, and like they're waiting to leave. They said like until they can leave. Yeah, they said that in one of the episodes.
Oh, I thought this was just like perpetual existence.
They said that at one of the episodes. Like that's what she said at the beginning, in like 8 years and this and this and this.
Wow. Okay, I missed that totally.
Yeah. So like, we were talking like, is this worse or not as bad?
Yeah. Let's be real. Like, don't you find yourself almost unconsciously or subconsciously comparing everything now to like, would this be better or worse than the current state of things?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but with the space stuff, I immediately thought of Snowpiercer only because I'm like, well, only the rich people will be able to go to space.
I don't think that's far from the truth either. I
Right?
think that's art imitating life.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's essentially Elon Musk has already cracked the nut on that. Like, he is now taking consigned satellite launches, right? So people are paying him to put their satellites on board his space vessels to launch them into orbit, and he's doing it like regularly. He's already turned it into a commuter business. Oh, just like telecoms, I don't know, lasers, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's on the satellites. I just know that Elon Musk has already started taking those contracts. So it's happening now, and it's so weird. Like, yeah, it's strange. I still, when this conversation comes up, I get excited about it. I've always been just obsessed with space travel, things like that, and lasers. Yeah, but like, now that it's happening, talking about it, I feel goofy. Like, my first reaction is like, space travel. I'm like, yeah, Sir Richard Branson with Virgin Galactic. It sounds like I'm just making shit up, but we're not. Like, it's happening today.
Space Force.
Well, this is what you have: 3 billionaires who are like, we're actually getting to space, and then you have the outgoing administration.
No. The best referral I've seen to him
Space
as
Force. And the best it got was an awesome Netflix
This
series.
is how I will refer to him from now on. The actor from Home Alone 2.
The actor from Home Alone 2. I like that.
Yeah.
That bit cameo.
Yeah,
Home Alone that B actor from Home Alone 2.
B actor from Home Alone 2.
I like that.
Started
we'll stick
Space
with that.
Force.
Yeah. Get me on the Orville, and I'm getting the Orville Express. Yeah, it's but yeah, Snowpiercer, really great show. Sidebar. Yeah, but I think it's really, like, I will say this though, let's look at these 3 billionaires, right? So Richard Branson, Jeff Bezos, and Elon Musk. Elon
Musk is an alien, so
yes, like. Yeah. Well, yeah. I didn't say these humans. I said these billionaires. Yeah. I admire though that they are using the wealth to do this, right? Like, they are trying to progress into the last frontier, or the final frontier. You know, as said by Gene Roddenberry. There you go. A moment for Star Trek. Yeah. So there is. I just think it's commendable that they're putting their wealth and their position behind progressing this.
Right.
Because it's something that we as a species and as a society have to take seriously. There's nowhere else to go, right? Like, there's nowhere else to go.
And you know what? You can
Northern Canada. And look, that's been open and available for a long time, and no takers. So,
do you know what else they have in space?
I'm talking about glacial Canada.
You know
too,
what
so
else
don't at
they'll
me.
definitely still have in space?
What?
Tea. Earl Grey hot.
Tea Earl Grey hot. We know that if anything survives, it's tea Earl Grey hot. The only thing from current Earth that will survive. Unexplored ocean. That's a good call, 5-putt. Yeah, you're right. I stand corrected. Yeah. We can go up or down.
Yeah.
We can't stay here.
What? Well, like
Unexplored Ocean. That's a good call. Actually,
look. If we could have a holodeck, it's fine. I don't need to travel on airplanes anymore.
Yeah.
I would just live in the holodeck.
But that would also be short-lived. I'm sure it requires a significant amount of energy.
No, but like they can be in there for a long time. Look, don't you remember Star Trek?
Okay, we'll just stuff generations of mankind into the holodeck and hope for the best. You can make Sequest a reality. Yeah, I like where your head's at. Where are those billionaires? Why aren't they like the one billionaire who's like, you guys work on space, I'm gonna like set up a community.
You know why? It's because
ocean.
we know of the scary things in the ocean. We don't know about all the scary
That's
things
true.
in space.
That's true. I can see a giant squid.
Yeah.
I can
Forget
see
that.
a
Have you
great-
gone deep enough? Have you seen those lamprey ones and those freaking like?
I don't look at space because I enjoy sleep.
No, I'm not talking about space. I'm talking about the ocean.
I mean the
like
space.
you go deep enough,
I mean
you
the
have the
oceanic
like
space.
ones with the light bulbs on top of that.
Yeah,
and, like,
there's some weird shit in the ocean, man.
Like that, we know about those scary creatures in the ocean. We know less about scary things in space, like black holes. But like, when are we gonna get near to a black hole? I could jump in an ocean and get stung by a deadly jellyfish and die.
Yeah. Vegas is playing mind tricks with us now because
Yeah,
this is true. If you start north, you'll eventually go south, but if you go east, you'll never go west. Thanks for ruining my weekend. That's the only thing I'll be able to think of now.
Do you know what a goblin shark is? Because I do.
Goblin
Have
shark?
you ever seen one?
No, sounds like something I'm going to bring into a D&D
Hold on.
game.
I know what it is because I've seen it.
You'll
gonna
look that up.
bring
In the
it up and
meantime,
show Brad
if you guys
what that is, so you
if
can
we're finished
see
talking
his-
about billionaire CEOs and executive directors, let's move on to the next subject that I would like to bring, which is actually sort of related because just as Amazon has really leaned into that is terrifying.
Sorry,
Goblin shark. Go ahead and Google it. Blame Bigly.
No, blame Scar Shack.
Games as a service. So we talk a lot about video games on the show because we're both big fans of video games. But the concept of games as a service is not something new, but it's something that's growing now. Of course, video gaming has enjoyed the biggest boom that I think it's had in a long time as an industry during COVID because a lot of people are home, so a lot of people playing video games, and a lot of people who hadn't previously gamed discovering video gaming. So amongst that boom, we're also seeing a huge evolution in how games are handled and marketed and sold to customers. Typically, right, we're familiar with video games. You buy a retail item, you play the game until you're done with it, and then you move on to next, right? But there are other types of games that are long-standing service-based games. Now, typically, MMOs or massively multiplayer online games like World of Warcraft or subscription-based games, right? Like EverQuest, RuneQuest, these types of games typically pioneered, I guess, that practice. But games as a service really means that you have a long-term, like a lifelong, we'll say, or a game with a lifespan that gamers play and continue to come back to for various reasons, and there's usually some kind of economy attached. So take World of Warcraft, for example. You have a subscription-based game. You pay like $15 a month to access it. And then Blizzard, before they were Blizzard Activision, had launched like an entire microtransaction environment around it where you could pay for character customizations, server transfers, little things, little quality of life improvements that you could actually pay into the system to have. And World of Warcraft, I think, is going on like 20 years now. It's been a service-based game. So that essentially is the premise for games as a service. Now, since then, we see a lot of games that have dabbled in microtransactions for various reasons. You know, they have the ill-fated and the much reviled pay to win model where you can actually pay for things that other players can't get, which puts you in a position of, well, whoever has the most money to dump into a game is going to be the most powerful, and that always, like, that never goes well. So typically the working model now tends to be around cosmetic items, maybe quality of life improvements, things that allow you to progress in the game a little bit more quickly that anyone else could do with enough time. And I like that because I found as I grow, as I evolve as a human, we tend to have a little bit more income than we do time to spend in game, right? When I was younger, I had more time and less income. So I think it's the closest thing we're going to get to a gaming balancing act between, people like us who game casually and trying to keep up with hardcore gamers who are like playing all the time. And I saw this a lot in my days with World of Warcraft too. We had there were people who are just always online all the time, and you can't keep up with them. And what caused me problems as a gamer is feeling like I always had to keep up. So having a cost model allowed me to maybe buy an experience boost that I could plug in for a weekend and close that gap a little bit and catch up, because I had the money to spend on an experience boost where some people might not, and they have the value of time instead. So it kind of balances out a little bit. But it's getting a lot of shade because people hate to hear about constantly paying for a game over and over. Where it tends to really get tricky is when people charge for the game and then have a paid model afterwards, like EA. And EA became the super villain of gaming a couple of times for doing exactly that. Battlefront 2 is a perfect example. They launched Battlefront 2. It was a full price game, $80 to buy it. And then when you got in it, gamers found out that they had to pay to progress beyond to the rest of the game. So it's like saying, here's your game, it's $80, and then you open it up, it's like, hey, you need to pay every time you turn on. It's like, hey, you need to pay another $10 into the machine to keep it going, right?
Yeah.
And that's pretty bullshit. So, yeah, just Manji, I'm not sure what you mean with Assassin's Creed though. What does Ubisoft put behind a pay gate in Assassin's Creed?
Yeah, I don't.
I don't think it's not the same as paying for cosmetics, right?
Or expansions.
Or expansions, or DLC is different as well. Yeah, DLC is a bit of, but DLC does kind of fall under the games as a service umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
But you take the hit for that one, Skarsha. Exactly.
But that one you don't have to get the DLC.
Yeah, that's right. And it is a lot of extra content that takes time to develop. So I get that, right? It's just like World of Warcraft, I'll use as an example again, just because they've been the longest and I'm familiar with them, right? When World of Warcraft comes out with a whole new expansion, which is an entirely different map, entirely different level progress, it's like at least 60% of the game over again, and then that comes with a cost. I think that's fair, right? Because they have to pay for the developer's time, they have to pay for the art, they have to pay to essentially develop that product.
You're literally talking about people. You're talking about the you getting to a certain point in the game, and you can't progress further unless you buy this armor or buy this and literally pay money to.
With Battlefront, it was you get in and then it's you can unlock the rest of your game for XYZ. It's a bait and switch, and that got them completely boycotted. There was a period where no one would even stream that game. Collect. I've never seen the gaming community so thoroughly unified.
Yeah.
Now they had the big mid-game grind that you could boat through with an XP boost items. I believe they stated that. Oh, in Syndicate? I'm not sure. Did you hit that in Syndicate?
Which
or did you get as far? That was the UK one, the brother and sister.
I didn't.
Did you play that far into it?
So I didn't play that far into it because that was the one that I found there was too much to do.
That's kind of what Mint just made me saying, it got really grindy.
Yeah.
Okay, so
totally.
All right, I got you, Manny. Yeah, that would be frustrating. So similarly, I think what Just Manny's saying, correct me if I'm wrong, Just Manny, but you get to a point in Syndicate, let's say presumably, where it doesn't really stop you though. That's the thing. You can XP your way through it, right? You can play your way through it, Manny. That's the only thing with Battlefront. You couldn't access things unless you paid for those items. But still, it is a little shady to put a massive, let's say, time gate in the middle of a game and say, now you can pay to bypass this time gate, or you can dump another 12 hours into just getting through that muck, right?
Yeah.
Trees grow on Earth, and yes, they do. Thank you very much for the follow. We've got a little tradition here where every follow gets a song, and that means you. Trees grow on Earth, you see, they dig deep into the ground, providing life-giving breath for you and me. Yeah, trees, we love them. Trees, welcome, grow on Earth. We say hey, and thank you for joining us today. You're now part of an amazing group of tabletop gaming, video gaming enthusiasts, aficionados, and gurus, and most importantly, the best community in the world, made better by your presence here today. Thank you very much for your follow, and welcome to the BazNBigly Big League. Hello. They started in Syndicate, but especially in Odyssey as well. And I can't really... Oh, Odyssey, I can't really speak to that either because we didn't play through.
No, we didn't
those
play
are
through all
the
of them.
two Assassin's Creed games we didn't play all the way through. So I'll keep an eye out for that because we will be playing through Odyssey again at some point. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Now, were they things that you had to get through, Just Manny, or could you just continue with the story and not do them if you didn't need to? Because I mean, you could. A lot of people had that complaint about Spider-Man as well.
Oh, what?
Because it was very brief for us. I don't know what it was at launch, but there's that period where it stops and like you have to do side quests for a bit
for a little
before the story
it was like
progresses.
One side
it was
quest.
very light, but people were complaining about it. Now, like I said, I can't speak to what it was like in launch. I don't know if that was patched or changed.
But you don't have to pay anything to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, I don't have to pay extra.
No, that's
level
true.
up
That's
to
true.
do it.
That's true.
It's different if like.
But now imagine if that took like 12 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You might be a little frustrated. Just maybe I'm more for a gaming model where leveling up gives you new things, not necessarily better things. Okay, but now we're talking about like the game design, right? As opposed to games as a service.
Because I think.
But I get you. Like, it's a good point.
Because you were mostly talking about games that you get to a
like
certain
Fortnite.
point.
Well, no, it's so let me just reset.
Catch up.
Yeah, let me reset the topic.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the quality of life. But games as a service really speaks to those games that are long-standing, like Black Desert Online. Fortnite is another great example. These games that are they live perpetually, right? And people keep playing them year after year after year, but they keep bringing things in to keep the ecosystem going, right? Or the economy going, rather. So we see that a lot. We see that Fortnite's another great example. Now, typically when it works, though, the game is free to play.
Okay.
Now, that is where I've seen it work well. It really rubs me personally when I have to pay for a game and then I'm into a microtransaction model, unless that game will play like a normal game that I've paid $80 for and I'm satisfied with it. And then if I want to keep going, then I can continue to pay a little bit more. I don't mind that, right? Because little aesthetic or cosmetic items like we see in Fortnite, Fortnite is turning into a billboard. And that's not really good, bad, or indifferent. It just is, right? Like they brought in a John Wick skin when John Wick came out. They're doing like Predator now. They partner big time with Marvel, right? They have like big world events when Marvel launches a new movie, and there's a lot of cross promotion there. But to get the custom skins, a lot of it you can play through it. That's a good example. You can play through, but it's going to take you a lot of hours playing that game to get it organically through the game. Or you can buy like the John Wick skin or the Predator skin or the Wolverine skin. You can buy it for $15 or $10, whatever it is, and then it becomes like more cosmetic. Hey, you don't need this to play the game. It has no effect on how good you are or how well you do, but it's just like a little cosmetic thing. And I will honestly say, I will, and apparently a vast majority of other gamers will also, spend more than $80 on the lifetime of a game than I would have initially for that retail copy. And that's what I think a lot of game companies are getting hip to. So I know what do you think? I mean, that's the idea, right? Is like, I think as long as it's free to play, but then the development company has to front that, right?
Yeah.
So it can be tricky.
I mean,
it's a slippery slope.
I've never played games that I've encountered that in personally, because I think it's just the type of games I play. Yeah. It's usually like
you don't do a
MMO.
lot of online gaming.
No,
it's usually online gaming.
I was gonna say,
can't think of.
It's usually like MMO games,
Avengers
right?
is probably closer you came. We didn't finish it because it was broke. Anyway.
But that's because it was broke, not because we had to pay money to get further in the game.
But that's the same thing. So a lot of DLC, right? A lot of like Mortal Kombat's another good example. A lot of DLC, a lot of like monthly releases or whatever quarterly releases. So the Palpatine initial announcement in Fortnite. Yeah, more hats, Scarcheck. Exactly. I'll pay $180 worth of hats and skins. Some gamers are expecting that Activision actually secretly buffs blueprint guns you can buy from microtransactions. Ooh, Call of Duty conspiracy theories. Those could go on forever too. Yeah. So it's difficult for you to say, I know, because you don't play a lot of like online multiplayer games. I do. I love that shit. Like that's what's going to keep me going back to a game. That's because most of the gaming we do is on 2-play, right?
Well, yeah, but even if it's not, like I wouldn't play those type of games anyway in my free time.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right?
That's fair. Yeah. I was getting nerfed. Yeah, that's right. By the ground. Yeah, no, that's it's just an interesting kind of progression, and I think we're gonna see a lot more games go that way. And this ties in with everything we were talking about, right? Like Amazon has Amazon Gaming. They're building a lot of MMOs. You mentioned Lord of the Rings. So here's a good one. There's a Lord of the Rings MMO coming out that Amazon Studio is actually producing. So now imagine you are playing that, and let's say two examples side by side. You're playing that game, you love it, you play through the story start to finish, you got your $80 worth and you're happy, right? But then if you want to keep playing that with friends, then there's an option to like buy an expansion that opens up like the Mines of Moria, and that becomes a big dungeon that you can do with your friends, and then you can buy like new outfits for your character and things. I think that's something that would really speak to you because you're very much about the cosmetics, right? So I think that's exactly who it appeals to, provided you are like a multiplayer or an online gamer, right? Because exactly, you said many times on stream before, for you it's more about like how your character looks, right? So that to get your character to a place where you're satisfied with how they look might otherwise take you 20, 30 hours of a game. But you can also just jump on, and for $12 you can buy a nice outfit that looks cool to you. And then maybe enjoy those 20 or 30 hours a bit more because you're looking at your character all the time.
I do have to say, like, I'm interested a little bit in the Lord of the Rings one.
Okay. That might be the one that gets Steph into PC gaming, gang. Keep an eye out if it ever comes out. Yeah, so imagine something like that. Now imagine on the flip side, you pay the $80 for the game. There are 30 levels that you can get to. 30 is the highest level, right? And at level 10, it says, please insert another quarter to continue playing, right? It's like to unlock the next area. It's like, no, you bought the game, but you can't level until you get in the next level, and we're gonna sell you the next level, the next area
dumb.
for $20,
I think that's
right?
Terrible.
Exactly. So there's cost gating.
Because then you're not buying the game. You bought a section of the game, and the game shouldn't cost what it costs then.
Yeah. Either way, what we know for sure is that gamers will not respond well if they are gated superficially, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're gated by progression, that's one thing. But if you're gated by cost or gated by having to buy a DLC to get the rest of your game,
Sorry,
are you
I don't know what's happening.
Bigly's having some technical difficulties. Some hair-related technical difficulties. Your hair is great, by the way. She went back to curly. I think it's amazing. If you're listening to the podcast, you won't get the benefit of that. So you should go see the VOD because Bigly's hair, as usual, is on point. And with that, I will wrap up. I'll wrap up the conversation of games as a service and lighthearted news for this week, which means that we are moving into... which stands for
funny shit you see on the internet.
Just like this. FSOTI. Oh yes, it's funny shit on the internet. I'm gonna lead into this one if you haven't had enough of my voice just yet, but I'll keep it short and sweet. Now I don't know if this is funny or terrifying, but have you guys seen the Pancake Cat yet? Okay,
Nice.
So Pancake Cat is there. I had a really hard time drawing this down to like the origin of the photo. Nobody seems to know like who actually owns this photo. It was originally tweeted out by an individual who basically lifted it and shared it out. So I'm not gonna like quote that because it's just whatever, lifting. I can't get but it's shown up on Reddit, it showed up on TikTok, showed up on Twitter, it's everywhere. And yes, isn't that like insanely terrifying? So it's a cat with like eyes cut out of a pancake. It's the big debate on the internet now is it a pancake or is it a crepe?
Oh Jesus.
But
oh my God.
Because the internet people are gonna do what internet people do.
If it's in France, it's a crepe.
Weird like mangled like mouth cut out and the eyes are cut out and it's on the cat's face. But I think we were talking about this. I think what really does it is the cat's eyes.
Yeah.
Like they're like eerily human behind this pancake mask.
This is what I was saying. I was saying that like the whole thing looks like a mask.
Yes.
Even the eyes.
Yeah, the whole
That's
thing
what
looks
makes
like,
it the most
yes,
creepy.
I see. Yeah.
Right?
It doesn't look like the cat's eyes.
It doesn't look like
it's
the
eyes
cat's eye.
fake.
Yes. It's like a Majora's Mask type thing. You put the mask on, right? And then it's all part of your face.
Yeah, it's kitty Leatherface. Thank you, Scarshack. Because I'm like, am I going to be the one who has to say it? Like, it looks like there's a peeling skin effect that happens. It's like
no,
very
you know who
Hannibal
Leatherface
Lecter.
Is. You know who Leatherface is,
No,
right?
I'm just talking. Yes.
Okay.
But I'm talking more about like the fact that it's a crepe on a kitten's face. Which doesn't sound as terrifying as the output is.
No, it's
the
true.
output is horrifying.
It's true.
Because it looks like a human face that's just like peeling off, like very Saw-esque or Hannibal Lecter.
It is. It's like when Hannibal Lecter put the meat on his face.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like he does this thing.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like. It looks exactly like that. It's because when you put
or
food...
Dwight from The Office doing the Hannibal Lecter putting the meat on his face. Yeah.
Actually, more so Dwight.
Or Dwight. Scary version of a scary version.
But if you think about it, it does look
from
similar.
A scary virgin.
It does look similar.
Yeah, it's really creepy. It freaks me out. But like cats seem to be up for weird shit.
We should try it on ours.
I don't know, man. I don't think it'll work. One of them will just eat it whole.
I think they do this. They do that. No.
The other will, the other will throw it off and then just go attack something. So, but I mean, like, what else? I don't think our cats have really gotten into anything like that. We've never like set them up.
Okay, first off,
as a photo op.
Someone clearly put
cute.
That on the cat's face. The cat didn't go.
The cat was like, the cat didn't get out its little cat scissors and like fashion that and be like, upload it to its cat TikTok and. No, there were humans involved for sure.
That's right.
But like we take cute pictures of our cat, but we've never really tried to stage something like that.
Not
because I mean that wasn't an accident.
No.
That's like
they put that on their cat's
mask made out
face,
of a crepe
and then they went,
cat.
"Oh my god, this looks hilarious!"
Yeah, I
and
wonder
they
what
took
this will
that
look
picture.
like. And it goes back to what we were saying last week about just like TikTok is internet chaos. It is that's probably exactly how it went. Somebody took a picture of their cat with a crepe on its face. I was like, I'll just upload this to Twitter or wherever it was, and it exploded. But you couldn't like, I will never believe that person was like, this is going to be huge. Well, they might have been, but they didn't like plan that. They didn't storyboard that. You know what I mean? Which just goes to prove that the weirdest shit goes viral on TikTok. It's just so random.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It does. But it's like. Animal stuff typically does really well.
Yeah. The internet loves animals because people love animals,
yeah.
I think, by nature, for the most part.
Like, I see a lot of funny shit with cats and dogs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, a lot.
That's true, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole other show as well. Just going down the rabbit hole, no pun intended.
It's funny, though, if you
animals.
Google, like, cat pancake face, that's not the only one that comes up.
No.
But the other ones aren't
Apparently, people have been trying to go viral with the pancake cat combo.
But a lot of them aren't, like, pancake on the face.
No.
That's just why it's different.
No.
It's just cats with pancakes. Did you see that?
Ridiculous.
Did you see that when you looked
yes,
for it?
I did.
Right?
I'm not gonna lie. It took me like maybe 20 minutes to do all the B-roll for the show, but I spent 50 minutes trying to find any kind of explanation about the pancake cat.
No, there isn't one.
No, there's not. It's like it just appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I think it was Elon Musk and his alien powers.
That's actually really is the cat's face.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not a pancake,
it's
guys.
Elon Musk.
That's why there's no information about
CG
it
does a
because
cat.
that it's not an actual cat.
No.
That is an alien.
Elon Musk.
It's Elon Musk's
It's Elon
cat.
Musk's cat form.
Yeah.
That's why we can't
That's why
tie it
the
back
eyes
to
look
any
so
particular
human
user.
because they're like.
If you do know the answer to that, or if you know where this god-awful, heinous creation originated, let us know because we'd love to. I would love to track this back to like an origin, and I have not been able to yet. So,
Excuse me.
Let's get the. Here, I'm gonna throw the Discord info into chat. Again,
All
we talk
right.
about all this kinds of stuff, and we all this kinds of stuff.
We talk about all this
kinds of stuff.
Oh.
We talk about all this all week on Discord. We also have community gaming coming into the fold, and this Monday actually we have I'm gonna discuss it's coming in a minute. We have community gaming starting Monday night. We're going to be playing COD. We're going to be playing Sea of Thieves in the future, or rather, we're playing Sea of Thieves. We're going to be playing COD in the future. Among Us, all kinds of great community gaming. So we're really trying to build that up now because we want to play games with the community, and the community has been great. And I don't know how many times I can fit community into a paragraph.
Seriously,
go ahead with
sent it.
Sarshay.
Elon Tusk and his cross-dimensional silliness. It's great.
Cross-dimensional
Scarshak.
silliness.
That's amazing. That
All right.
comment's
If
great.
we've done this one to death, we're out of syrup, and we don't want to talk about creepy kitties anymore.
No.
Let's throw to Madam Bigley with your funny shit.
No,
on
they
the
can't
internet
hear
this
this,
week.
can they?
Yes, they can. They can actually. Sorry.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
let me
I'm
pause
gonna
the
can we
music.
preface it
Yeah,
first?
please do,
Okay,
yeah.
so I found this guy on TikTok, and he's a comedian, and he does like a bunch of things. He does like Marvel, The Bachelor, and he'll like go through like who he would throw away and stuff. But he recently started doing J.R.R. Tolkien naming shit. So if you know anything about Tolkien, or Tolkien, depending how you want to pronounce it.
So start a fight.
Yeah, let's not
Start a whole
fight.
new internet fight.
I go back and forth. So he started this thing because like Tolkien is known to the way he uses words, the names he gives creatures and places and stuff. They're pretty amazing. But every now and then there's something that's like not as amazing. So he kind of like highlights these and showcases. I just watch it.
But we can all agree it's weakened. All right, let's go.
So watch this
Here
guy.
we go. Let's give it a listen.
As Tolkien naming shit.
Tolkien
JR,
naming shit.
What do you want to call this thing? Manazgul. Okay, cool. And this scary guy? Urukai. And what do you want to call this tree with a beard? Tree beard. Tree beard. Tree beard. Tree beard. Okay. Sure. And what do you want to call this little furry boy man? Hobbit. Hobbit. Fun. And how about this scary demon god? Balrog. Okay. And what about these marshes with dead people? Dead marshes. Dead marshes.
JPN. Naming
And
shit.
name for this horse? Shadowfax. Awesome.
Oh, this one's one of my
And
favorites.
this horse? Firefoot. Cool. And this pony? Bill. Bill.
Bill.
The pony. Bill the pony.
Bill the
Pony.
And this
I'm
hobbit?
sorry.
Mariodoc Brandybuck. Love it. And this hobbit? Deagle. Okay, and one more here. Smeagol. You just said that. No, I said Deagle. This one's Smeagol.
You just said the same thing.
Y'all, it's maybe great
No,
for this.
very different. Very
J-
different.
Hey,
Oh my God.
so
That's great.
It's great. I think you didn't show the naming places one, so this is
Yeah.
another one too.
I think it was one of the first ones, but go for it anyway. Southlace, welcome. Good morning. How are you, Southlace? Welcome back.
Sorry, I couldn't actually hear it because I don't hear it.
Yeah,
through,
yeah, I know.
so
I have to
would-
figure out a way to get that.
the
I don't
Mordor
think
one?
we
Was
can,
that one
actually.
there?
Yeah, I think so.
was?
Yeah, but go for it anyway. Yeah.
No, it's
yeah.
okay. But it's
Hilarious
just,
series,
and he
though.
he does such a good job of like being Tolkien. I don't know why it works so well,
And
but
he's a
he like
comedian.
he
He's-
is a
he's a
comedian.
stand-up, yeah.
But he does such a great job of it, of like the like just like the
It's
naming
hilarious.
place. Did you just? And what about this place? Murder. Did you just say murder? No, Mordor. Mordor.
Bill
The best
Pony.
thing is if you've read Lord of the Rings or if you've seen the movies, the pony's name is Bill. It's Sam's pony,
Yeah.
right? And he's like, good boy, Bill. And like, it's great because like it is. All the other horses have these like amazing like epic names, and then there's Bill the pony, and
Bill
it's
the
and it
pony.
is legitimately whoa what? It is Bill the pony.
Yeah.
That is the pony's full name.
Good to know.
Bill the pony.
His formal title, the pony. Like back when they had like royal titles.
Yeah.
They had, like,
Tree beard.
Jack the
Tree
Ripper.
beard. Tree beard.
Tree beard. What about those marshes with dead people in it? Dead marshes. So there's tons on there. He's got lots on his TikTok.
Yeah, he has
And
a
we-
whole bunch of other things too that he
TikTok's a
does.
hilarious place too. I say it's internet chaos, but it's Mordor.
Yeah, it's great.
Mordor.
I'm like, it is hilarious. Like, it's funny because like for some reason that's how I imagine Tolkien like writing his books too.
Yeah.
Because he's a linguist and he came up with all these, and I imagine him just getting fucking fed up, coming up with like crazy cool names for things, and it's just like
I'm out. Yeah.
Bill.
The well runneth dry.
this is Bill the fucking
Bill the
pony.
pony. Bill the pony.
Murder. They murder people here.
Smeagol.
Deagle. Smeagol.
He's an old guy, he gets tired easy. So and that's a lot of pages to write. So you got to cut him some slack. You know
so
what I mean?
it's great. I would check him out. He does some other, like I said, he does some things also where he does like contestants on The Bachelor, where he's the Bachelor, and then the people coming on, he does like a Shrek one, he does all the Marvel ones, he does a Lord of the Rings one, and then he tells like, I'd kick them out at the limo, I'd get rid of them at the first rose ceremony, they make it to the home things, and he's like, this is who wins, blah blah blah. So check him out. He's really funny.
It's a crossover we've always wanted. Yeah, there's TikTok is a wonderful and weird place, like the internet, but it's like looking at the internet through a magnifying glass. And I think especially on the side of content creation, this is what we see too, right? Like, I'm glad, and this is exactly the point I was making last week about TikTok and viral content and things like that. Let's look at those two side by side. We have Pancake Cat and we have What's the name of the TikToker? Do you remember?
Oh, hold on. It is
the doing the Lord of the Rings naming. It's
Jordan freaking
Wilson. Thank you, Jordan freaking Wilson. But this is exactly it. So you have Pancake Cat went tremendously viral, right? But that's not a sustainable, like that person is not now a content creator who's going to continue to make like cat pancake videos, right? So that one video may have gotten, let's say, or that image, whatever, that content may have gotten, let's say, like 1.5 million views overall. If that's a lot, it won't, or it might not. But then you have somebody like Josh freaking Wilson. Jordan freaking Wilson, who creates a lot of content, and those videos might get like a couple 100,000 views each, but he can consistently produce that content, keep and maintain an audience, and build content growth around it. And that's the duality of it, right? Like everybody wants to like, what's viral? Like I want to go viral. I've always said, and will continue to say, I would much rather have a constant ability to produce content that people find interesting over time than have like one piece a year that generates like 100,000 views or whatever. It's nice, and I won't discredit it, but viral is viral, and content creation is different, right? Like you can shoot something that goes viral and get lucky, but it's like winning the lottery, right?
It is like
this guy will be around long after Pancake Cat's forgotten.
Yeah, and like we talked about that before. Is like I'll post something and be like, "Ooh, yeah, this is really funny," and then like it hardly gets any views or anything, and you're like, "Oh."
And you could put 20 grand into a TikTok as well, into a video, production wise and all that, and might get like 1,000 views.
Well, like we saw one yesterday of a guy. He literally does portraits. Someone recommends something, and with Rubik's cubes. Okay.
Yes.
And
insane.
He someone's like Ron Weasley in the comments, and so in his next video he does all of the hi Pippin.
Oh, hello Pippin.
He does them, and he makes the portrait using like hundreds of Rubik's cubes.
So it's like bit art basically.
Exactly. So you'd think, to me, I'm like, this should have millions and millions of likes. And it still has a lot, like 200,000 likes, but like, why, to me, that should have way more, way more than some 16-year-old girl
it looks
dancing.
Amazing. Like it looks like digital art. It's so good. But he has to like, it's not like each Rubik's cube is a color. He uses each square on the Rubik's cube to form the painting, right?
Yes.
So imagine painting a likeness of Ron Weasley in an image from Harry Potter with like 10,000 squares. And each square is a 3x3 square on the Rubik's Cube. He has to align the Rubik's Cube to get the colors he wants and then put them on the wall so that when you stand back, it's a mosaic, really.
It's crazy.
It is absolutely insane. That's something we should probably show next time.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like funny shit on the internet is low-key like just becoming TikTok highlights. Because it is.
That's where all the funny shit is, guys.
Shit is there on some level or another. So.
Well, and also, it's just like people are on that more than other things.
And it's quick, it's bite-sized.
But like I said, that to me should have millions of views, while like there's like Charlie D'Amelio, who's like a 17-year-old girl who just like danced and gets like millions and millions. She's like the most TikTok followers. And I'm like, I will never understand that.
What did I say from the beginning though? Early adopter.
I know.
She was one of the earliest.
I still don't get it.
Creators on
Still
TikTok.
don't get it.
If you get in, it's like stock. If you get in on ground level with a new platform and that platform takes off, you're good. As long as you're not making like ultra shitty content, right? Vine was the same thing. Twitch was the same thing. YouTube, exactly the same thing. There's a reason PewDiePie is like one of the largest content creators on YouTube, and it's not because his stuff is great. Don't at me like YouTube or PewDiePie fans, but like, let's be honest, like what is special about PewDiePie that's better than any other creator on YouTube? He's got the legs. He was there. He was there in the beginning, and he started creating a whole bunch of stuff around Minecraft, and he just continued to do, like, now it's reaction videos, and it just snowballs from there. And credit to him. I'm certainly not trying to take anything from people who are early adopters, but let's be honest, like it's not exactly like earth-shattering content, right?
No. It's funny. So I was watching one Bieber YouTube video, and the rest is history. So it's interesting. Like that doesn't happen really anymore, right? Everyone posts music shit. If you actually see the video Bieber posted when he was little, he was actually pretty good. He was good. He's very talented, right?
Great little musician.
It makes sense that like someone might see that and be like, "Hey, this kid's good. I'm gonna pick him up," right? That won't happen anymore because literally everyone's brother and uncle and sister and cousin are posting singing videos, right? And that's just the way it is. So like that I understand. A girl posting videos on TikTok who's dancing and is 17 and is just as good a dancer as like so many other, or not even as good as many other people that I see, that I get less than like someone like Justin Bieber being discovered on YouTube.
Which is great. I mean? It's just saturation. If you're ahead of the wave, you will do it, right? You'll get it. If you're not, if you're in the middle of the pack, like it's too crowded. It's too saturated. We're going to talk about that a little bit more next week when we talk about Twitch streaming. I'm going to do a section on Nerdity Warning next week that is just focused on like getting started with streaming, answering questions about streaming, because we get a lot of interest around that. So stay tuned for that. We definitely, you'll want to tune into that one if you're ever interested, content creation, streaming, and how it all works. But that's exactly it. Like you need to be just need to be early out the gate, or you need to do something truly different. Just like the new Rudy's, he's taken that as hiding PewDiePie's face, really lost a big community. Hold on, let me reread this. Okay,
I'll help you.
A lot of big channels, but then that's gone now. So
okay. He said he dislikes the new Rudy's taken because he's hiding. It's hiding PewDiePie's face. It's really lost a big community, etc. Feel now, right?
Feel. Yes, absolutely. And that, I had that. A lot of big channels don't. That it's gone now. Yeah, you're right. So like that accessibility, right? That closeness, the exclusivity of being able to be part of a community and get to know that creator. That's lost now because he's just become a bit more of a brand, like an output. If that's what you mean, Manny. Yeah, I can see that. I didn't know that he was doing that. That he was taking his face out of it. And that's it too. I always tell people, if you're creating content, like, don't forget that you are part of the content, right? So yeah, that's it. A lot of people are, a lot of big creators, they lose that community feel, right? Because you just can't keep up with it as one person. There's only so much to go around, and that's unfortunate too. Only Baz can get people to enjoy his new play on Warzone. The RP was like,
I heard you. I could hear you
my Warzone
from the
roleplay. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun too. There's a book about people who become famous and set apart. It's called Outliers. Very interesting. Oh, nice, Sila. Look into that.
Things just lining up for people.
Yeah,
and you know what? Here's the other thing.
Sometimes it just happens.
Yeah, sometimes it just happens.
Right place,
and then
right
also,
time.
like, if you are already in and like famous, it's easy to get other things, whether you're good at them or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right,
So, like, for instance, I'm gonna use JoJo Siwa as an example, and like, I actually like her. I think she's a really good role model for young girls and things like that. But she's a dancer, and she's a fantastic dancer, right? She started on like Dance Moms and things like that. But she also is like singing now, and like does concerts and sings. Girl cannot hold a note to save her life. Okay. She cannot sing.
Yeah.
It's like adorably endearing, but like, she can't sing. My point there is that, but she does, because she had the money to go out and get a record deal and pay to do it, and goes and does concerts, like full on concerts, right?
She can still fill a stadium.
She can.
JoJo.
Exactly. Yeah. Or there's like, like, I know some people as well who are like, who I've worked with, who were like, like Vine famous, YouTube famous, right? Yeah. And get things, or can get things easier. And like in this case, the person can sing and they are a good singer, but I knew people their age who were better singers than them, or just as good.
Once
but they're able,
exactly.
Once you're established, though, you can pick up and get other things.
If you're smart, once you've established it, you can reload that and leap into something. You can launch pad into something else. And some creators are really good at that and get it. And some just stick with the same shtick and then wonder why it's dying off at the end. You have to constantly grow.
I will say, at least with JoJo Siwa, she is a good entertainer.
Yeah,
she's
and she's a positive force.
And she's cute. It's funny, Vegas, how many evangelists are going to not let their kids watch her now.
Oh, yeah.
You know why?
Oh, yeah. I saw a headline
Because she
this
came
morning.
out.
Yeah, she announced that she has
good
a
for
girlfriend.
her also.
Yeah.
Like, I know. I think that's so funny.
I'm glad we live in an era where I know we're not there yet. We're not finished with the work in that area, but I'm glad we live in an era where that is kind of a common conversation now.
Well, and not only that,
right? Like,
but
it's like, oh, neat.
I thought she was very sweet when she said like, you know, she made a huge risk coming out because like she could have lost everything,
and
she
like,
said
exactly like you
like said,
yeah,
and
exactly
she said
like I guess.
it was worth it, even if she did lose everything, at least she would get to be who she knew she wanted to be. And I'm like,
good for her.
That's a smart kid, man.
Yeah.
That's a smart kid. And like, honestly, if we had kids, I'd rather my kids like her than Taylor Swift.
And you have the option then to either teach your kids that, hey, this is okay to be yourself and embody that, or you're going to teach your kids like that's not okay, and if that's you better keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Dichotomy to be facing.
Vegas, your kids love her. You got
Yeah.
shoes, bows,
Shoes,
all
bows,
that.
all
I'm
of
not
that.
gonna lie.
Yeah.
Okay, look,
Yeah.
I know I'm an adult. I'm gonna be 34 in less than in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
35. Oh shit, I said the wrong age. But the point,
I'm just gonna smile and nod.
the point is, I love her bows. Okay, I'm there. I said it. I love bows. I own many bows. I own like bows.
No shame
so
in
many
it.
bows, and I love her bows.
No shame in it. No shame in it.
Yeah.
JoJo Siwa.
Yeah, we were just
All
going.
right.
We circled. We were talking about TikTok and
with
stuff.
that, bows are kind of like a nerdy thing.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we
totally
have a few
nerdy.
other nerdy things that we want to share with you on a little segment that we call Nerdity Warning.
Get those nerds! Nerds!
That's right, Nerdity Warning this week. Let me see who's kicking this off today. Nerds! It's back to you,
It's
actually.
me, I know
and
it is.
originally this was going to segue from
I know,
the Lord
my
of the
Lord
Rings.
of the Rings.
But we had
Kitty.
some really great conversation intertwined in that, featuring
did.
JoJo Siwa, rightfully so, and just the general nature of TikTok
Yes.
content. So speaking of content, let's talk a little bit about some televised content.
Okay. All right.
Big
So,
is excited about.
yes, it is Lord of the Rings news time, which we maybe thought we would never hear about again. So, as we know, or maybe you don't know, Amazon bought the rights to Lord of the Rings. They purchased the rights.
Oh, thank you for the bits, Vegas. Very nice.
LOTRs is
Very
so
nice.
trash.
No.
Oh no! Oh no! That was so trash. Please continue, Bigley. Now with that, roll forward with your segments. She's broken. She's broken. Your 100 bits have now destroyed Bigley. No, you're fine. Let's go.
Okay.
Reset.
Okay. Maybe ban him.
No, I need to see this play out.
Anyways,
Okay.
I'll just...
Lord of the Rings is so trash. I love that you can share and send a message to the chat. That's amazing. All right, please continue.
All right. So, as I was saying, how amazing Lord of the Rings is, because it's amazing and the best.
Mhm.
I will censor
Television.
I will censor your comment.
Let's go.
All right. So, I'm so throwing now.
No, you're not.
I am.
You're talking about Lord of the
so
Rings.
It's spoken to my ears.
Yeah, I know. It's magical.
I hated it.
Speaking of magic, tell us about the Lord of the
Oh
Rings
my God.
TV series that's coming up.
So, Amazon recently bought the rights to Lord. Stop it. That's your fault
Okay, all right,
now.
let's go.
You do yours.
No, let's go. You're an entertainer. Get your shit together. Yeah.
So it's just sitting
Amazon
there.
is going deep into Lord of the Rings though across the board, because it just occurred to me we were talking about like this Amazon game studio which is making the Lord of the Rings MMO.
Well, because they bought the rights to Lord
okay.
of the Rings.
Well,
this is what I'm saying.
Right, that makes sense.
Right.
Okay,
So New
yeah.
Line originally owned all the rights to it, which is who did the Lord of the Rings films originally.
Right.
But Amazon recently bought the rights. Now, what we're running into is, what did they buy all the rights? So like we know that New Line had the rights for basically Third Age and on, and they had a bit more than that, but we're not sure exactly how much of it. If you don't know like Lord of the Rings history, basically it's broken out into like the First Age, the Second Age, Third Age, and then like before that, et cetera, right? So what the show, there's going to be a new Amazon Prime show. They're actually already filming it. They're in New Zealand. They might actually be done. They're filming seasons 1 and 2 back to back, which I always think is the best way to do things. Just like they did with the films. They filmed all 3 movies, one after another, all together, right? I don't know. I feel like it really helps with like continuity and everything like that.
It's got to be helpful as an actor too.
Oh, right? Absolutely. So not little is known about the show. They've released a huge ton of information about people cast in it, but not who they're playing. Okay. They've only released like, here are all the actors in this show. Here are some more actors who are in this show. But so recently though, they did release when the show is going to be set. So this is a pretty big thing. They released a map, and the map shows areas of Middle Earth predating the Third Age, and so we're pretty sure that it's going to be set during the Second Age. So the Second Age is a huge amount of time. It's like 1,000 years. So obviously we're wondering, a lot of people are going on about like, well, what part of the Third Age is this going, or Second Age is this going to cover? Where most people are fairly in agreement that hobbits are not going to be part of this. Hobbits don't really pop in until around the Third Age, so it doesn't make sense that the hobbits of any sort are going to be in this. Also, they're saying the Istari, or like Gandalf and Saruman and them, they're not going to be in it as well, because they get sent down from Eru, which is like basically like the overlying god of like the world, much later. So I'm just gonna quickly just give you a little breakdown of what we think is going to be covered in the show. So basically, the map they released showed Numenor, right? The lore master, hell yeah.
The lore master, yeah.
They showed Numenor. So Numenor is an island off of like the main part of Middle Earth where men live, and it was granted to them by the Valar, which are like high elves, and it was granted to them there. So we've never really seen Numenor in anything else before, so they're pretty sure we're going to cover that. And Lindon, which is an old elvish city, which gets destroyed at one point, and the elves have to disband from there. So they're pretty sure, if we see the maps, if you look them up, it shows those areas. So then what exactly is going to be covered in this series? If you're a huge fan like I am, which I obviously am.
Clearly, yeah.
Look, I even have my little
really
Lothlorien leaf on
it's
here.
It's interesting to listen to you talk about it, yeah.
Okay. So, Sila, you did the Lord of the Rings tour while you were there. Okay,
you have to stand where
that is like my dream. Anyways, okay, back to it. Sorry, I got really distracted. So basically, there's some items that they think they're going to cover. So Sauron, we're fairly certain, is going to be the main bad guy. Sauron was not Sauron how we saw him or know him in the films, though. He is basically sent down.
Keep going. Yeah.
Sent down from the Eru, right? So he was basically like a god almost, sent down. And he worked for this divine being Morgoth, who's like the big bad. And he was like his first in command for a while. But that was in the First Age. So we don't think we're going to see Morgoth or anything like that. So then we're thinking, here's what we're thinking is going to be covered. So here's some things. So Numenor's rise to power in Middle Earth. Sauron's gradual emergence as the recognition of the new Dark Lord. His seduction of Celebrimbor and the other elvish smiths of Eregion, and the forging of the rings of power. So what that means. So Sauron, he went missing for a long time after Morgoth was destroyed, and then he came back and disguised himself basically as like an elf, as like a high being, and seduced these other elves into believing things he was saying, and he made them forge the elvish rings of power. And then his goal was then he forges the one ring so he can control them. Right? So we think we're going to be potentially seeing that as well in the show, which would be really, really cool. Yeah. If you look up images of, sorry, I'm forgetting Sauron's like fake cover-up name. Yeah. Anatar. If you look up Anatar, I didn't realize he's actually in one of the video games too. that character. Didn't
Nice.
realize that because I
Nice.
didn't play all the video games.
Yeah.
But if you look up that character and you look up that history with Sauron, we're fairly certain that that's going to be covered in it, which would be really interesting to see. And then obviously his rise of like bringing in Mordor and taking over and really becoming the true Dark Lord. Maybe the Ring Wraiths. Again, we don't think, I'm just seeing here, none of the wizards, none of the hobbits, because like the Istari don't
We're taken away from like
come.
the popularized.
Yeah, so hopefully we're thinking we're going to be seeing a lot of characters that we haven't encountered before. If you're fans of the books, then you'd know. If they're saying like, what should you read if you want to know more about the history and if you want to know more about potentially what will be covered. Silmarillion will help.
Right, which came out before The Hobbit, right? Or
It's not before, so it came out after the Silmarillion.
That came out, but it covers what?
It covers like
what
it covers like the first and second age.
Okay.
It's pretty. It's a really hard read, you guys. Like I've never finished
heard that,
it.
yeah, I've heard that.
I've gotten like halfway through and I've never finished it. There's also Unfinished Tales. There's the history.
If you're a completionist and you're going for that achievement, then,
there's the
then you can
Unfinished
read it.
Tales, which is also one you can read, and that covers a bunch of the history as well. The history of Middle Earth, which is broken up into a whole bunch of different segments, and it covers things like Galadriel and Celeborn, what and their rise and what happened with them before Lord of the Rings, basically, and then a bunch of other elves like Celebrimbor and his seduction that happened with Sauron and the fall of Lindon and all of that. So.
What do you know about the company that's actually making this film?
It's Amazon.
It's their own. Okay, yeah. And how do you feel about, like, first of all, that's like your knowledge of Lord of the Rings is extremely, it's boggling in a good way. And I feel like this, we've always said my version of that is Star Wars, like I like deep lore and stuff. So it's always interesting for me to hear your perspective on that and go deep into that, because there is, like, I think for those of us who really are mostly fixated on or attached more than anything to like the Fellowship of the Rings trilogy.
Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Lord of the Rings trilogy, thank you. That will get annoying. But you're right. It's easy to forget that there is a whole living, breathing world that goes, like, that's really the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, like,
right?
Lord of the Rings is just the Third Age, and it's not even all the Third Age. It's a section of the Third Age, right?
Yeah.
It's Sauron's reemergence, right? That's all that it covers, Lord of the Rings.
Mandy says audiobook the Silmarillion. Yeah.
Seriously, it is.
Yeah.
It's a hard
Good
read,
idea.
and the other reason it's a hard read is because most of these other books are pieced together by Christopher Tolkien, who is J.R.R.'s son, right? John Ronald Reuel.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
his
going to
name.
give you a moment to breathe. Get your breath. Vegas, thank you very much for the bid share.
No.
Believes that hobbits have terrible,
No, I read it.
terrible feed hygiene. Yes, Bilbo more. Yeah, he's trolling hard, but with the bits to grease the wheels, so we have to let it through. I like the cut of your jib. I wonder if Gimli ever married Legolas. After all.
That's not how you spell Gimli.
It's the biggest bromance. An epic fantasy bromance. New Zealand is gorgeous too. Did you say that it was being shot in New Zealand as well?
It is.
It is.
So the whole thing is being shot.
That's good.
So you asked how I felt about Amazon doing. So
do you feel good? Does it feel good for it to be in their hands?
So here's the thing. They've done some great originals. Fleabag was an Amazon Prime original as well. And there's a few other ones that I've read. I can't think of what they are now off the top of my head. And a couple of the people who were involved in Fleabag.
Oh my God, John Krasinski, Jack Ryan.
Yeah.
Jack Ryan.
The difference.
I think it's called Jack Ryan.
The thing is, they've never done a fantasy
Tom Clancy.
epic, right?
Yeah, right.
So I know they have a couple of people on from Game of Thrones. The interesting thing is it is a little scary when I don't see a lot of people who've done a lot of like fantasy stuff before.
Right.
And especially if they're covering stuff from like the Second Age, that's appealing to book fans. Right? So if they're obviously not trying, if they're doing Numenor and they release that map and they're like, here's the map, haha, tease, anyone who looks at that map who doesn't know anything except the movies is not going to know what the hell that map is.
You know what's interesting though? Think about because with Amazon, this is the power of like these multi-platform networks like Amazon. Earlier we were talking about like how widespread Amazon is, and they're in places you don't even know they're in.
Yeah.
Amazon has tangible data on like how many people are buying Lord of the Rings stuff and how much of that stuff is from certain parts of this era, right? Like they'll be able to tell you exactly how many people downloaded Silmarillion or bought it, or how many people buy like Lord of the Rings paraphernalia from outside of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting to like I would imagine at least with this Amazon, you can rest assured that they know exactly what the demographic is.
Yeah. The thing is, though, is similar with Witcher series, that was good. True, but that's a Netflix original, right?
They've been doing it for a while, too.
Netflix also has done...
Agreed.
Netflix has done other, like, fantasy-type shows, though, that are originals, right? So them taking on The Witcher, even if there are people involved, you know, with people involved, they, you know, have... They still have the experience behind them as producers.
Yep.
But like Amazon hasn't done any fantasy epics, right?
Yeah.
So, but they're definitely catering, it seems, to book fans by what they're covering, and not catering to like the movie fans, which is interesting because then they really can't screw it up. Because I will tell you, there's a lot of like. It's like Star Wars. There's a lot of like elitist
fans will be the
Lord of the
harshest
Rings
critics,
fans
for sure.
You know, like I've met people. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, as you can tell. I love the movies. I think they did a freaking phenomenal job with the movies. Did they change some things? Yes. Did they piss me off enough that I hated the films? Absolutely not. I just went with it, you know? But there's a lot of like elitist Lord of the Rings fans who will be like, the movies were shit. And I'm like, that's not true though.
No, yeah. But
right?
we're talking about like toxic fandom. They can't allow themselves to enjoy anything.
Exactly.
But you're right though. This is a bit different though, because you can create a Star Wars movie that's a good Star Wars experience, and like hardcore quote unquote self-proclaimed Star Wars like real fans will hate it because they can't love anything.
Yeah.
But this is a bit different because they are distinctly targeting an era that seems to be more appealing to niche like lore type folks like yourself, right? But yeah, like just Manny was saying, they own Audible, which is a huge audiobook platform. They also own Goodreads. They own IMDb. They own like all the things that they can tell exactly how many people are downloading and listening to, and how many people are reading these books.
Yeah.
Like how many people have purchased the books that are relevant to that era. And we're gonna pause really quickly because Cheesy Gal is coming to the fray. Thank you for joining us, Cheesy Gal. The tradition stipulates on the BazNBigly show that every follower gets a song. So let me just roll with this vibe for a minute. Cheesy Gal, say hello, a pal coming on a Friday to join Bigly and me and getting your day started with positivity and getting your weekend cooked just right. Good morning starts now. Welcome, Cheesy Gal. Thank you. Or is it Cheesy Cal? Oh, is that a Q?
It's a Q.
It looked like a welcome, Cheesy. My favorite food, by the way. My favorite food genre. That whole section of the food pyramid is where I just want to live.
So,
welcome, Cheesy. Thank you for joining us. You're part of an amazing group of tabletop gaming, video gaming enthusiasts, aficionados, and gurus, and most importantly, the best damn community of the internet world over, made better by your presence here today. Thank you for your follow, and welcome to the BazNBigly Big Leagues.
Well, it's funny because it's like with the new show coming out, I think the way they're probably going to try and appeal to movie fans is they are going to probably have Galadriel in it. So she's going to be like some kind of. She's going to be like, and Elrond will most likely be in it too.
Yeah.
The issues where you run into it is that like elves don't really age. So like, why should they be cast differently than Hugo Weaving?
CGI Hugo Weaving.
No, but it's not. They've already cast the whole show, so it's clearly not Hugo Weaving, and it's clearly not Kate Blanchett, right? If those characters are in it, it'd be really hard to do this age.
You can't do like a young version of Galadriel because Galadriel would still be the same.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Right. So Elrond.
Yeah, guys read books. You guys read books. What is that? What is this life? Elrond.
Duh.
Elrond. God. Don't be an
I
elitist
control him
fandom.
if he write
Yeah, that's
trash
true. That's
like
true. You
that.
started this,
Yeah.
Vegas.
Um,
you know what you did.
But basically, how I see it is, I hope that the casting and everyone else that they have in it will be. I think they're gonna do a good job. I'm not worried about the casting, honestly. I think they'll do great. But you know, hopefully they stick to the source material. They have so much material. If they were able actually to buy the rights and got everything that we think they got, and they release that map, then they should be able to cover and have tons and tons of source material. So, you know,
Fail Rhonda.
Fail, Rhonda.
Fail Rhonda. All you know is Rhonda.
I don't even know what that's.
Thank you for the bitch here, because he's saying like you're correct. It's trolling your own troll. Yeah, Star Trek fans dislike the new movies, and I really like them. I didn't need all the political and extra stuff from the originals. Yeah, and I'm like, we can agree to just enjoy like the fantasy, right? Oh my God, Norb671, welcome. Thank you very much for the follow. I don't know if you heard, but every follower here gets a song. As soon as I figure out, let's get a whole new vibe here. Yes. That's right. Wait, what is this beat doing?
I don't know.
There it is. Norb671 coming down. Let's son of a gun saying, hey, it's Friday. I'm here too. I want to join with the likes of you. And we say thank you, Norb671. You found a place full of fun, and we're glad that you're here with us today. So thank you for the follow anyway. You're part of an amazing group of tabletop gaming, video gaming enthusiasts, aficionados, and gurus, and most importantly, the best community the world over, made better by your presence here today. Thank you very much for your follow, and welcome to the BazNBigly Piglies! Indeed.
They gotta be careful though. If characters look too different, there'll be some backlash. I don't think there'll be, honestly, like you'll be backlash from those idiots who will give backlash no matter what. Like, I here's what I'm saying though. I think most of the characters are gonna be new characters or anyway. And I think if we know, like I am aware, if Galadriel's in the show, if they decide to make her a character, if they're setting it when we think they're setting it, then she should be involved in it.
Yeah.
I don't think, like, I'm not going to be mad that it's not Cate Blanchett. I'm going to be aware that it is not Cate Blanchett, right? So, you know, we'll see what happens. I have high hopes for the show. I
think it's in good hands.
Yeah.
As good hands as it can
and
be, right?
if you want to see any information about it, if you're also a Lord of the Rings fan, the OneRing.net, which I hadn't been on since like high school and didn't even think was a thing anymore because I used to go on it like every day for Lord of the Rings movie info. It is like up and popping right now, okay? So if you want to be up to date of any of like the Amazon Prime stuff, they have like the most up-to-date Lord of the Rings news you can possibly get.
Really?
So, yeah.
Interesting.
So OneRing.net.
OneRing.net.
Yeah.
Go check it out. And with that, speaking of Lord of the Rings and all of the things we've talked about, Amazon Gaming Studio, I am going to close out today with my nerdity warning, which is MMORPGs, which stands for Massively Multiplayer Online Role-Playing Game. Now, earlier we were talking a little bit about gaming, where it's gone, games as a service, these long-time running games. And the reason I wanted to field MMORPGs specifically today is because I've found as more and more people enter the gamosphere, discover the sport of gaming, is there still a place for like MMORPGs? And the reason I feel that, as somebody who used to almost exclusively play MMOs, is the fact that they are really a time vampire. Like, there's always that duality between people who play MMOs hardcore and people who really enjoy them, like myself, but need to play them casually, right? I don't have the 8 hours a day that I used to pump into like World of Warcraft or Star Wars Galaxies or even the Old Republic, or Ultima back in the day, right? Dark Age of Camelot. There was a period where I played literally every MMO that hit the market. WildStar, you name it. There's like there was a period where they were coming out almost like a couple each month, it seemed. So MMOs have this inevitability where they just draw you into a grind at some point. But it's not, grind typically has a negative stigma. It's a grind that you might enjoy to do, right? Whether it's repetitive or progression related, it's fun to certain people for different reasons. So my question is there a place for MMOs in this new evolution of games and games as a service. I mean, they tend to be the founding fathers of games as a service, but they really only appeal long term to people who can put that kind of time into them. Or I'm making a grand statement by saying that, right? Because like even times that I've gone back to WoW or I've come back to any kind of MMOs that I've played, inevitably I get to a point where I'm like, I just can't keep up with this, and I stop playing. So I don't know and I know your experience with MMOs is a little bit more third party, right?
Well, I mean, I did play the Star Wars one.
Yeah, that's true. You played the Old Republic.
I played,
but why did you enjoy the Old Republic?
Because we were playing with friends and we were playing together.
Yep.
And
it was story.
You
played the Old Republic story.
Yes.
We level capped to 60. We played it together, which was great.
I was just going to say.
But the Old Republic, this is BioWare's Star Wars MMO that came out, oh my God, probably about 10 years ago now.
Yeah.
It was very much a different type of MMO. It was the only MMO that was so heavily voiced. It was the only MMO that really brought in, at the time, BioWare's just masterful storytelling ability. And it's the first MMO that I ever played, in all the MMOs that I've played, and there have been many, that was very story oriented, where you could play through the story. We level capped in the Old Republic, and I didn't even blink. Like, it never once felt like a grind. We made it to cap level, and I was like, holy shit, it's over.
The only reason we ended up stopping was
because it was so quick and easy. It was story.
We got to an end of a story part, and then like they didn't have anymore.
Well, this is the thing. There was no real end game when we played it. But that's the point that I'll make there, is the reason you were able to play through Tour is because of the story, but you didn't play it after the story.
No.
And that's where, like, typically with MMOs, reaching level cap is really just the beginning. When you max out your level, then it's end game. You get into like dungeons, raids, gear grinds, optimizations, min-max builds, PvP player versus player, things like that. You never really got into that, because at that point, I think that's where you started to lose interest.
We did some.
And that's kind of the other half of the MMO.
Yeah, we did some dungeon stuff. I remember.
Yeah, some dungeons, raids.
Every now and then.
Well, dungeons. Yeah, we did some. Yeah, no, we did. Yeah, we did some 5-person dungeons.
The thing I didn't like about it was like you have to like schedule time with your friends, and like if your friends aren't available, then you can't do a bunch of stuff, or then you have to find people to do dungeons with, and then maybe you won't find anyone, and then you're not doing anything. And I'm like, I just want to turn my freaking game on and be able to play
and jump
right
out. Exactly.
Like, that's the why I don't like MMOs typically, is because why can't it just be something that I can just go and play and do?
That's exactly the point, right? And that I think is going to be prohibitive to a lot of players who want to turn on the console, get into it and go. And especially people who have very limited playtime. And this is what's changed about me as a gamer that now really prevents me from getting into MMOs. So just get caught up with chat really quickly. No, you're good, Vegas. We can still play COD. What's the demographic of the video game? And it still stands. Not to mention The Witcher. What did you think of the goal? I know there's a demographic of the video. Oh, sorry, we're talking. Yes, it's a good segue into the MMOs. Would Stellaris be an MMO? It's space strategy game. So that's like a real time space strategy game. You still play the Neverwinter MMO, Skarshak? Yep, free to play, Dungeons and Dragons based. It's now rooted a little bit more in 5e D&D. Yeah, and Wizards has done a really good job of keeping the Neverwinter MMO going in line with what they're doing in the D&D space. So they'll release like a new campaign for the tabletop role-playing game, and then they'll reflect that in the video game as well, which is I think it's it's PlayStation PC. I don't know if it's available for Xbox or not. The game is only lasting 20 to 40 hours for Stellaris. Yeah, right on. ESO, ESO is an MMO.
What's
I played ESO. Elder Scrolls Online.
Oh, Elder Scrolls.
Elder Scrolls
Online.
Yeah. Path of Exile, I've not played. So that's the thing, right? Like if you or you matchmake now, which is standard convention to try and answer that, but then you're in random pugs or pickup groups is what it stands for, right?
Well, and that's why like you said, and then you find people and you don't want to play.
Yeah, and then you're like,
you don't want to play with them.
And not to mention that, like, the success of these games is really reliant on the community too. If the community is overwhelmingly toxic, then it's going to run into those troubles as well. But you make a good point. Like when I was at the peak of playing World of Warcraft and I was in a progression raid, there were 40-person raids. We had very tight schedules, like raid nights, tight schedules you were in, and all the rest of your time was spent like grinding to prepare for that, right? So I can't do that anymore. Like I can't spend. What it does is it puts you in the unfortunate position of, well, I don't know if anything's happening, so I'm going to log on and wait till something happens so I can get involved. So then next thing you know, you're online for like 12 hours. Sometimes something happens and sometimes something doesn't. And then I would look back at that time and be like, shit, I've been on this game for like 8 hours. And you guys will know this if you played World of Warcraft. I've just been circling Stormwind or Orgrimmar on my flying mount for the last 10 hours chatting with guild chat, and I haven't done anything. And that's what it kind of, look, and they're paying $20 a month to do it.
And honestly, really bad for relationships.
It can be. And that's more a comment on the gamer than it is the real. Yeah. So I mean that's true though. We used to talk about that. There's like Warcraft widows. There are like whole groups of. There's a whole group called Warcraft widows. But anyway, we won't go down that path. Yeah. You have to. That's the thing though. Like it has that ability to make you feel like you have to be on all the time in order to keep up. And this kind of harkens back to what we were talking earlier about the games as a service model, right? Like if I can take what I lack in free time to play games now and maybe throw in what I have in disposable income now and close the gap a little bit, that I think is a little bit helpful. But MMO designers have forever been trying to strike that balance of catering to the casual gamer, because you just can't. You will always have gamers who spend like 8 to 10 hours on a game a day, and people who can't compete. It's just literally the time spent in the game will overpower anywhere anyone else can go. The only other answer is to gate the people who are hardcore, and that's a lose as well, right? Because you can't say, like, I can't say to person A, like, you are not allowed to play this for 8 hours a day if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Any more than I can say to person B, like, you can only play for 3 hours a day, so we're gonna like triple your experience for a weekend. But sometimes they do a combination of both. So that's what has me thinking, like, what's the future of MMOs in this space? And there are a lot of really good ones coming out. Like, they have to have some kind of environment that caters to casual gamers, but so too is it up to casual gamers to make their own fun in that, right? I found like I only really started to enjoy them once again when I stopped worrying about what was happening with the hardcore gamers. When you accept that, like, look, I'm probably never going to be invited to like the big end game raid because I just don't have enough time to keep up, or at least I'm not going to be one of the first people through it.
Yeah.
And that's what Destiny was like for me. Destiny started to take on some MMO characteristics. They introduced raids and stuff like that. It was a hard grind to get gear to the point where anyone would take you anywhere. So I just resigned to the fact that I'm not going to do that raid within the first couple of weeks of launch. I might do that raid for the first time after a few months and just hopefully trust that people will still be there to take you through it.
It's, I just like, just Manny, play Skyrim.
Yeah, play Skyrim. Yeah. If you want to make a viral TikTok, just capture all your bugs in Skyrim and just start posting them. Skyrim's worth it for the hilarious bugs.
Yeah.
Unlike Cyberpunk, which are like game breaking and frustrating, Skyrim just
hilarious.
has these like ridiculous the flying horses.
Yeah.
So we'll leave you with those thoughts on MMOs, the future of gaming. We talked about a lot of really great, interesting news pieces today that still at some level are like 1 or 2 degrees from gaming, and I think that's something we can expect for the next little while because of the very few silver linings that exist in the age of COVID. The rise of the gamer and the streamer and the increasing and continuing to increase popularity of games is one such thing that I think has benefited greatly.
Neither of my news had to do with gaming.
No, but there was some kind of tie-in,
no, there
right? Like Lord of the Rings, they're making a game about it, right?
Yeah. No,
yeah. The Weekend, maybe not. There's no Weekend video.
Stop saying Weekend.
You might be able to find a Weekend song on Beat Saber or something like that. And therein lies the degree. What do you think, Bigly? How did you feel about the news this week?
I felt great about the news. Vegas.
A little good news.
Vegas.
Wait, that's trademarked, I think.
Vegas.
Vegas, it's on.
We'll have a little conversation.
I love you, but love you, big.
Love
but
ya,
Lord
big, but Lord of the Rings is garbage and Harry Potter is the GOAT. Last time I troll, promise.
We'll see if you can keep that promise, Vegas, as we continue through another great week of streaming. Don't forget, gangs, tomorrow morning, BazNBigly are back with 2Play playing the pajama stream. We're going to roll out of bed in our PJs. We're going to continue our playthrough of Ghost of Tsushima.
And you know what? Vegas, you can't play with him.
Yes, you can.
No,
we'll work
you
it out.
can't.
It'll be like, I'll get internet in the shed. And we'll play some COD together.
Okay, you can play in the shed.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific time. It's always a pleasure hanging out with you, getting the weekend started right with Good Morning on Friday, the BazNBigly
That's right.
morning
I
show.
can't do my thing. I don't have pigtails.
Oh, you don't have pigtails anymore. Well, we'll have to rebrand your sign up. But why don't you give it a shot, Bigly? Say goodbye to the fine
that
people.
That looks ridiculous. Like, bye-bye.
See you, everybody. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow morning for
tomorrow.
gaming and all the good things that come with it. Peace.